Hey guys, I know the world's a fucked up place, but did you know that volleyball is actually interesting? Hey guys, my name is Drew Philip Elias. I am the co-host of Between Nerds podcast. I'm here with my other co-host on the other end of the table, Mr. Aldo Mendez. What's up, everybody?
What's up, nerds? You might notice that we are fucking Last Supper style talking to you guys here, Bible style. But yeah, we changed the format, video format once again, and the audio format. We tried something else, so hopefully this fits nice into your little nerdy ears.
If you do have feedback, please hit us up on every social media handle. That's Twitter, Instagram, Twitter,
It's
Instagram,
a new one.
YouTube,
That's ours.
TikTok. Everything is at Between Nerds, or email us question, comments, or concerns at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. We need to introduce our co-host for the day, who's in the middle of the table.
Our guest.
Our guest. First time on video, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
First time on video. Long time friend of the pod, Mr. Christopher James.
How's it going, everybody?
CJ.
The One Piece connoisseur of sorts. I guess at the beginning of this episode we can also go over some housekeeping notes. No, Aldo?
Yeah. We are back. You know, after having a break for like a week and a half.
But for the audience, they had no break.
Yeah, the audience had no break because you know what? We like you guys. We like you.
Uploading every time.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to come back and say profanity and using racial slurs.
The housekeeping notes I wanted to bring up was not racial slurs, but actually that we had no entries for our nonprofit usage for the month of March.
I was getting into that, but yeah, we didn't have any entries. We did have some usage only from like the associations. The organization's Twitter. We are gonna donate our humble $10 that we donate whenever we don't have any likes or anything like that.
I could have sworn.
So we'll post that later. Also, we are a new month. It's fucking April 2nd. Happy Ramadan to everybody.
Happy Ramadan. Y'all are probably going to be listening to this April 4th, though. So you're already missing out on like 3-4 days of entering our April giveaway. So for the month of April, we were doing some critical thinking over here at Between Nerds podcast headquarters. And we decided that for the month of April, we were going to be donating to the Autism Society of El Paso.
Mm-hmm. Once again.
And,
dedication.
If you want to be entered into our giveaway for the month of April, we will get you some free tailor-picked nerd shit that fits your interest specifically. You like One Piece, we'll get you One Piece. You like Dragon Ball, we'll get you Dragon Ball. And we will ship it for free to your house, I promise you.
We'll get it to your nerdy paws.
Yeah, I will make sure that it gets to you with that tracking number and everything.
Absolutely.
No scam bullshit, because I know most places, like most YouTubers.
I mean, there's
a bunch of scammers.
There's been some Twitter followers that we had that they used it.
They thought we were gonna dox them,
and they were like we. I
mean, we're not that much of nerds.
They were using the hashtag. They will get involved a little bit, and then as soon as we picked them for or they got picked by the counter. The counter thing, like they just like straight dropped.
Yeah,
like they're not involved or anything.
Yeah, once they get one free piece of merchandise, they're just like,
nope,
that's it.
I'm out.
Yeah, I gambled too much.
So if you want to enter our April giveaway, please use hashtag Nerds for Autism.
Yes.
That is NERDSFORAUTISM, an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our April giveaway. And for every like and retweet on said tweets, Instagram posts, or YouTube comments, we will be donating to the Autism Society of El Paso.
That is correct.
Yes.
Thanks.
And what else? What else can we say about this new video format? Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. Like us on YouTube. Fucking Haikyuu.
Haikyuu, man.
So this past week and a half, we basically were able to watch season 1 of probably the best performing sports anime of all time, which is Haikyuu.
Oh, and to let you nerds know, this is a very special month because this is like April Madness. We have dedicated our time to schedule a month full of sport animes. which today we're talking about Haikyuu.
Right. So the idea behind April Madness is that
next year we're gonna do it on March.
Right. Yeah. We kind of fucked up because me and Aldo love like these theme months. You know what I mean? So we did February. We did all like romance and rom-com-y stuff, and then
we were watching some Texas Tech games.
When it came to planning the month of March, we invited all our friends over and we had a bunch of guest episodes. And anime we kind of needed to keep up on, but that fucked us. Because like I got really into March Madness this year and Texas Tech's run in the NCAA tournament, so Aldo was like, "Fuck, we already missed out on doing March Madness. Let's just make it April Madness." So the next 4 weeks, we are watching nothing but sports anime. This week was Haikyuu. Next week is Hanebado, which is the badminton anime. We have Free, the swimming anime coming up. And there was another one.
Ice skating.
Ice skating, the ice skating one. Yeah. So we have some highbrow like sports anime and like all recent productions. But Aldo's basically already tailoring a list for the actual month of March next year.
Nice.
Because for March Madness, he wants to do like the classic 90s anime, 90s sports anime.
Nice.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't even know why I didn't even think about it. But growing up, not only was Goku that thing that I would watch growing up as a little Mexican boy, you know?
Oh, you're Mexican? I didn't know.
And another anime that everybody watched was Captain Sabutsu. Hold on, let me check this out real quick. But yeah, in Spanish it's called Supercampeones for all my Latino friends. But yeah, like that anime looks exactly and while watching a Haikyuu, it reminded me so much of it because it is the same frames, the direction decision to tell the audience what is happening. It's always the same because like if here in Haikyuu we're seeing like those like super like, oh shit, like pass it this way, pass it right, pass it this, I'm in the center, blah blah blah, this and that. It's it's a chance point or whatever.
Chance ball.
And then in Captain Subutsu or Supercampeones in Spanish, it's the same thing. You see these guys running across the field and it's like, come on, you can do it. And like they just like try to juke themselves and it's just crazy. And
I like that.
And it's so I want to revisit it and I hope I'm not remembering with nostalgia goggles.
I got you.
You know? I want to revisit it because I remember it being well structured because the story was about a becoming of age story through soccer.
Yeah, which again, that's like the plot to all shonens.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Being like watching season 1 of Haikyuu and then being like 5 episodes into Hanebado, like I say this every week, I really do. But like literally the more anime I watch, the less picky I am. Like
I know what you mean.
Literally, I could watch almost anything at this point.
I know it's exactly
like it's so annoying because like Haikyuu. My favorite thing about Haikyuu, like there's a plethora of things to love, but like my favorite thing about Haikyuu is that it feels technical in how it describes its sport.
Yeah.
Like it wants you as an audience to be like, oh yeah, get ball over net, like volleyball. You get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and I also like that they dropped it after the first season because I told you guys this off mic, but like I accidentally watched the first half of the second season.
With me and CJ, I've seen up to the end of season 4. You've seen up to the end of season 5. All those accidentally halfway through season 2.
Yeah.
So like I get it. You know what I mean? It's also one of those that like you don't want to put it down because like every episode ends on a cliffhanger, and once you get like near the second half of season 1, and you actually have multiple episodes describing a game of volleyball, you're just like, oh, match point, episode ends. Motherfucker! Like, now I really have to sit here and watch this other episode to know what's going on. Like,
one thing I really like, what we were talking about earlier, is that how the show basically teaches you volleyball step by step. Because I feel like if you already know volleyball how it is, it would probably kind of like annoy you, like, motherfucker, I already know this shit. But like for people like us, like who didn't know anything about fucking volleyball, we were just going in this shit like, okay, this is a cool ass sport. And then when you see they break it down for you like step by step, this is what this guy does, this is what this guy does, this is why he does that, this is why he does this. So it's like, oh, fuck yeah. It's cool learning it.
This is why I like having you here, CJ. You bring me and Aldo back to our original points, which was the point that I was trying to make, and like we just forgot about it. Is that like when what CJ's describing is that like the technical aspects, like I am the setter. I sit in the middle of the court in front of the net, and I set the ball for the spikers on both ends of the net. Or I can send it to the back, send it to the front. I am the center brain. I'm the nervous system of this offensive front when it comes to volleyball, right?
Exactly.
Like I am the libero. Like I am an all defensive player. Where
who do you think is most important?
Honestly, I think it's a libero.
Libero,
because my understanding of most sports is that defense is the hardest part. Even though offensive players, like every sport I watch, get like the most like publicity. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of soccer, like Messi and like all that. Like all the most famous soccer players in the world are all like strikers, right? Yeah. They're all like the guys at the front of the net making the goals because it's the exciting plays. But playing defense is hard. It's like as people that are watching Laker games this season can attest to. Like,
but then, like, after a while, for example, in soccer, you have, like, very famous, like, goalies because they're, like, the shit.
Absolutely. I remember the World Cup 2 times ago, so 8 years ago, when the Mexican goalkeeper... the internet blew the fuck up. He had 20 blocks.
Yeah.
Okay,
I remember that. Yeah,
something stupid. Everyone, I heard the memes on Twitter that day, especially in the El Paso area, were stupendous because it's we're fucking overthrowing the Mexican government and just installing the Mexican goalkeeper as president of the country.
And to have that story into somebody like the what is it called, the position, the libero.
Mm-hmm.
The libero, I think right now off mic we were talking about who our favorite character was, and we both, me and Drew, jokingly said Miss Kyoko.
I said Hinata at first.
Well, yeah, he did say Hinata.
I think my favorite character has to be Nishinoya, the liberal.
Because talking we can't talk haiku without describing the positions, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm describing the setter, stands in the center of the court and will receive a chance ball and set up the play, almost like the quarterback almost.
Or almost like the point guard for my basketball players.
Yes, thank you. So, you are setting up your offensive plays.
Exactly.
You receive the ball in the middle of the play, and you are going to send it out to your offensive player that you think is most likely to trip up their defense right now, right? So, that's the center position. The libero cannot go in the first half of the court. Has a special jersey on because they switch in and out a lot. Because
I think they're the only player allowed to switch in and out freely without checking in with the ref. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, and their main goal is to catch balls before they hit the ground.
Yeah, he's the only one not allowed to oversee what's going over the net.
Yes.
Which is the hardest part about volleyball.
You just have to, fuck over here. Oh.
Because imagine, blocks in volleyball are you hanging your hands over the net and pushing the ball down to the ground. So that ball... is being received at fucking what?
Dude, those just
60, 70 miles an hour, fast as fuck. Bro. Maybe faster, maybe 90, I don't know.
No, you think so? That's not fast.
Yes.
No, I think those just come fast as fuck, bro. Oh, hold on.
60 maybe.
No, if
60
maybe.
If
you've ever seen Team USA,
tops.
if you ever seen
No,
Team USA,
I get it. It's a light ball. It's a crazy hit by an athlete.
Okay, you know how in the episodes you've seen where the ball compresses so much that it looks
spikes
flat.
Are 70 to 80 miles per hour.
Oh,
so when you're blocking, when you're blocking a spike,
your fingers have to be of steel, bro.
Yes,
exactly. That's why when like I said in the episodes, when you see the ball compress so much that it looks flat, that shit's real, dog. Yeah,
they do the slow-mos of golf balls like that.
Yeah,
that's just wild.
So my point about the libero is if you're catching a blocked ball that is already going 70, 80 miles an hour and then 2 feet off the ground, and you have to lunge and try to pop that shit up. That's the hardest thing on the court.
That's what I think. I think it's called pancake when they put their hand flat on the ground and the ball hits their hand directly. I mean, you've seen that in a couple episodes, but. Dude,
they barely save it.
A full speed ball coming straight directly on your palm, on the ground, bro. That's just gotta fucking hurt, bro. That just has to hurt.
Talking about season 1, a play that's not a play, but an accidental play that we see only in season 1 and twice, is kicking it.
Yeah.
Is kicking like a ball before it hits the ground, which like you would never practice or try to do. Like,
hey, but that's volleyball. Legal. That's completely legal.
And like this is why I like the beginning of Haikyuu so much, because it really wants to baby you, being like, hey, you're mildly interested in this sports anime. I will teach you what it's like to play volleyball. And it reminds me of an anime that just ended like last week. It's My Dress Up Darling. We were talking about it before we started recording, CJ. And like a lot of anime content creators are really excited about My Dress Up Darling because it goes into like the technical aspect of what it means to cosplay, to make cosplay. Yeah. Like you're testing fabrics, you're checking between what's expensive, what's affordable, what would look good in picture, what would look good in real life. You were going to a conference to a convention to show your cosplay, like what would be better in the sun. Is it an indoor conference? Like
there's a lot to
you know what I mean, like and that's the thing about My Dress Up Darling that a lot of people appreciate, is the technicality with it. And Haikyuu like really, really goes into it.
Yes, that's one thing that really like dragged me into it, because like I'm pretty sure you guys going into Haikyuu not knowing anything about fucking volleyball. So it's like going in, they were like, okay, let me teach you the technicalities, let me teach you the rules, let me teach you basically the basics. And going into volleyball, that's one thing I really loved about that shit.
And it's really nice to have that. And also the development story of like this Midoriya Bakugo relationship, you know? Because I wanted to say Goku Vegeta first, but I'm like, no, that's not it. It's Bakugo Midoriya, definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's when we're introduced to Hinata, right?
So our main character, his name is Hinata. He's a volleyball fanatic.
Redhead.
He's short, but wants to be a spiker.
Well, he falls in love with volleyball when he sees, I'm pretty sure like almost every like upstarting story is because they witnessed somebody great on TV.
I think even One Piece is like that.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. So he happened to see somebody great and he's like, yo, I want to be just like that.
The opening scene is him biking through his hometown like shopping district.
Mm-hmm. 7th grade or some shit like that.
Something like that, right?
The electronics store in the shopping district is showing the Nationals high school volleyball game between the main school we follow, Karasuno, and like whoever the fuck their opponent was, and this character called the Tiny Giant, being this 5 foot like 6 head spiker.
Can I say one thing? I think that's like one thing I really like about this is that they showcase like a tiny. Sorry, I don't mean to say tiny, but like a shorter person, but dominating in a sport where height is like a main priority. That's one thing I really, really like about that show, is that they show Hinata almost like a little, like how you said, like a tiny giant, just dominating in a world where height is like the main part, like main factor.
Yeah, you know it's like a short person trying to play basketball.
Dude, you know? Exactly. Like a Spud Webbs type story.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Honestly, like the more I watch these sports anime, that's how like every sport is apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Even in the badminton episode 1, like the main chick, the main chick being a bitch is like, I'm just really tall, and like everyone thinks I don't try hard because I'm really tall, and that means I'm good at badminton.
Like yeah, bro, it's like I don't know what it is about these shows about like with height in general, but like no. Yeah, I get you.
I mean, when you find out that the fucking asshole Tsukishima, the tall dude with glasses.
Oh, bro, I forgot.
Like he's like, he's 6'2". I'm like, I'm 6'2". He's like, he's not that tall.
For Japan, that's fucking huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that's what I'm saying. Huge. And to the point that like, why making such a fucking grief of this like short person is because he looks like everybody else.
I love that the dub converted from centimeters.
Yeah. That's one thing I like. Yeah,
I love that the dub converted from centimeters to inches, bro. That shit helps
throwing
so
me
much.
off because there would be like, I'm 200 and something centimeter or 200 and something like centimeter. I'll be like,
is that good?
So I had to go to my phone real quick. Like, how's that in inches, bro? Because I don't fucking know.
Yeah. So if you're like,
I think Tsukishima's like 6'2". I think he's my height. He's like 6'2", 6'3". He's around the same.
Hold on. Finish all those original thoughts. The Bakugo Midoriya relationship is between Hinata, the main guy for the show, and the setter of the team, who is Kageyama.
And they're in different. I'm sorry, CJ, but they're in different middle schools at this point.
Yeah.
But the story doesn't start off precisely at the game. It starts off when when Hinata, I'm sorry, he's getting obsessed with volleyball. He's like, I want to play volleyball. So his last year in middle school, he decided to join the club, but like there wasn't any guys playing. It was just him. He had to join the girls club. But
he had to practice with
the girls club. Yeah,
he practiced and trying to jump. And bro, the animation, like them using CGI on the ball, I don't even give a fuck because all the moves. And shout out to the studio. Who's the studio here?
I'm looking it up. Don't yell at me. I was looking. Studio Production IG.
Production IG, man. Shout out to you guys for keeping season 1. I have season 2, but I haven't kept up with season 5 and shit. But you guys are doing great work in the fucking animation. Because him practicing and him even doing the movements for him to jump and like hit the ball, it's so satisfying.
I like that
it's so satisfying, and
the physics,
and not the physics, bro. Because again, I'm gonna go into like character design, and like the proportions to their bodies and the movements that they're doing. It is so good, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever played Mario Strikers.
Yes.
Baseball one, right?
I love that they use that super pencil drawn kind of animation in this sense as.
Okay, I want to go over a couple things. Production IG is a consistent co-producer in all of the Attack on Titan seasons. That's even after the main studio switches to Studio Mappa. They made Psycho Pass. They made the Ghost in the Shell movies. They made Kuroko no Basket.
That's tight.
They made Vinland Saga. Like Production IG's like
they
good.
Made Vinland Saga.
Yes, Production IG's good. Like is my point. Production IG is
Vinland Saga is my god.
And again, and this
they made the Evangelion movie.
They what?
They made the Evangelion movie. Yes.
Oh shit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah.
So Production IG's good.
Yeah, they're good.
Hey, put
Thumbs
up.
Put
some respect on Production IG's name for just like a second.
I love that the really intense moments look like this, like a hard drawn like paper on pen pencil like that.
Yeah.
When it gets in a super intense moment. And
honestly, not to sound, I know you're not there, but like one of the most famous One Piece scenes ever is a punch Luffy does, where they dumb down like the animation. They take away all the color and it looks like a paper on pencil kind of thing. So like just super inked. Scratchy, just like he's just so mad that like
it basically punches the color out of this guy.
I've seen those panels.
He punches the color out of this motherfucking guy.
Bro. Yeah. So I get what you mean.
Yes,
and
I don't know exactly. What
and him. Asking rando ass kids in school, just being like, "Hey, dude, would you be down to just like
set up Spice Ring?
Set it up, just set it up." It's like, and some dude just feels bad for him one time, and I just say some dude because he's not important to the story.
Like, no, I don't think any of these characters from like his middle school ever get brought up again.
Exactly.
No. They do later on.
The ones in the game though. The ones in the middle school game.
No, okay, hold on.
Those are the ones that they do.
Okay, I don't want to. No spoilers. I mean, it's not like it's
detrimental. There's one dude, huh?
It's not like it's detrimental to the story or anything. But later on down the road, when Hinata happens to make it to like further tournaments, his friends from middle school happen to witness his game, like the final games. They were there in season 4's game when they're playing
that's right,
Inarizaki. When they're playing Inarizaki, I think. So his middle school friends happen to show up for one of like his big like heavy moment games, and so they're there witnessing him, and they're like, "Yo, yeah." So honestly, that's a pretty cool callback to his friends from middle school because they bring him back later on.
Yeah, but like they're not like game important.
No.
Yeah.
They're not like on the team or anything, but it's pretty cool that they bring him back to like to showcase that like, hey, your friends from middle school are still here to support you now, on whatever level you're in.
So Hinata tried to practice with his kids. He, for some reason, there's a time skip, and we are led to believe that Hinata put together a team. for just that one tournament, for just that one game, just for him to be able to play.
He just begged his friends, just show up, bro.
Just show up,
please,
just
so we can play.
All I need you is just to fill in the spot.
Yeah.
I will cover everything.
Yeah, I'll do everything else. You just fill in the spot in my team, please.
And to me, my first super thumbs up is like that makes sense.
The desperation?
Yeah, exactly.
that makes sense. Like, if you're gonna tell me that volleyball is fucking badass, that's the story I want to hear. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you're willing to risk
nothing,
it.
Like, not a prodigy. Yeah. Didn't even play
physically
all of
disabled for the game.
Bro, this is just strictly hard work and just dedication, bro. I want to play this
and I
shit.
thank the creator for that put in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's very smooth to what Haikyuu turns out to be.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, shout out to the writer of the manga, Haruichi Furudate. Mm-hmm. He
nice.
That's you like that?
Nice. I like that.
He's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
As of today, he's the GOAT. For real.
He's already finished. By the way, he's already finished the manga. As far as I know, the manga's already finished.
His first and only production.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
This is what he's worked on.
I think this is what I like. We talked about this with Demon Slayer. Like, current mangakas are getting leverage in not just the manga industry but the anime industry and how they control their IPs to the point that they can pick and choose when they end their works. You know
when their work, yeah.
Like, a lot of previous iterations and generations of mangaka, it's like they're on the hook for life. You know what I mean? They're just writing. I'm thinking about the guy that wrote Berserk. You're just writing and writing your whole life to the point you get sick about it.
Yeah.
And that was the issue with Bleach at the end. The manga just got so sick of the manga industry.
And something as negative as writing Berserk, I bet that shit eats up at
it's
you
because,
all day.
Honestly, I feel like the mangakas that try to write it are trying to... they obviously see what the fans say and all that. So they're trying to, accommodate to everybody. But it's hard to, try to fit every... Because
all those
you can never please everybody. Yeah, you can never please everybody.
We talked about this in that episode when we talked about Rick and Morty.
Yes.
The creators are like, dude, we don't want to listen to you guys. You want this story? Here's this story. But...
Yeah.
This is not what this show is not about.
Yes. I agree, because the examples I'm thinking of, I agree with both of your points completely. The examples I'm thinking of are Demon Slayer. I'm thinking of Chainsaw Man is barely at chapter 195, and the mangaka has been no, we are in the final acts. The shit's almost done. Oda is an exception to this rule because
he's been going on for how long?
And again, to my point, somebody that is writing Berserk and somebody that's writing something as happy as One Piece, and it's, don't get me wrong, it's not happy. It gets serious at some points, but in a happy disposition, with a happier disposition than Berserk. Berserk is just tragedy after tragedy.
But see, that's the main gripe about One Piece right now, is that we are in the most high profile fight ever in One Piece. Mm-hmm. And Oda been nah, this shit is Tom and Jerry.
Hold on, it's crazy because the fact that he said happy and all that, bro,
that's the point. That's
exactly,
the point. That's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although being able to take away, no, One Piece at the end of the day is happy, is the main takeaway you should have.
That's so crazy that he said that, knowing what we know now.
It's just as a pre teaser to what we're going to be talking about in the NerdDown, something me and CJ put into the NerdDown schedule is that we're going to talk about the gripe versus Naruto v One Piece, because One Piece is in a place right now that it's the most high profile fight ever, but this shit has dumbed down to fucking Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. But it's written Oda has gone on record multiple times, and we have had plenty of gags in One Piece to the point that you should have guessed this. You should be expecting this. You put something that was never written in, that this is some super serious fucking thing.
Yes.
And you're upset that this isn't Naruto, and Naruto has the most mid ending ever, but that's the end of
we'll go into that later. We'll go into that later.
If you allow me to reel it in,
we're in the middle school tournament.
We're in the middle school tournament of this one and only game that Hinata was able to sign into for sheer fucking luck. Gets into this first set of middle school tournament, and he meets the king of the court. The king of the court being
Kageyama.
The Bakugo to his Midoriya.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, you know what's crazy, bro? Is that, okay, you notice that Hinata's hair is orange, Naruto, and then you notice that Kageyama's... well, more or less like orangish, right? And so Kageyama is more bluish. So that's... Honestly, bro, I don't know what it is with the Japanese like animes and stuff like that where it says
I don't like Naruto. I don't like Naruto enough to see it like that. I see him more at My Hero Academia. Not to shut on your boy or anything.
No, I'm just saying, like, you ever notice that? Like, why is it always like orange against blue? Why is it always that?
I think
it's because symbolism at some point. Like
the black-haired guy is the darker one, and
exactly.
the orange-haired guy is the peppy upper one.
Because like the main character always stands out with like some sort of like
it's
distinctive attribute.
It's when your high school teacher, when your high school English teacher tells you, "Oh, the curtains were blue," that means he was feeling sad. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that same thing.
Yeah, I get
but like in colors. But anyways. We get to this game, which is fucking cruelly one-sided.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
between I can't remember his fucking middle school.
I mean, dude, it's a team of organized players versus a team of just like whatever the fuck you can find. Yeah,
and the thing about volleyball is that it's best of 3 technically. You know what I mean? Like a set is best of 3. So, like, they get 2-0'd, and, like, it's not even close. Like, they showed the score at the end of Game 2, and it's, like, 25-8 or something.
Yeah,
like,
they get dominated.
Like...
By 2 sets.
Well, you know what's good is that Hinata he shows, obviously, Kageyama like, he realizes, like, yo, this kid's actually pretty good.
Because Kageyama's the king of the court, because he's a setter.
He gets a tummy ache. Hinata gets a tummy ache.
He gets nervous every time he's about to play a game. He gets so nervous, like his stomach starts hurting against this shit. But like the thing about Kageyama being called the king of the court is because he's a setter, but he sets in a way that he wants his spikers to set how he wants them to hit.
He's very egocentric.
Like he's not setting their
for their position or their skill set. He is setting in a way that this is the most ideal set that needs to happen right now.
Honestly, okay, hold on. I can't lie. I get that it's kind of dickish the way he does it, but he's basically trying to bring the best out of everybody. So I get where he's coming from, but it's a dickish way to go about it.
He's not matching sets to people's skill sets. So, he can set up the perfect set for, like, if somebody could hit it, that would be the best set. But if he sets it up for me, I'm like, dude, I literally can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Like, so you're just being an asshole right now. Like, you are not hitting for my sake. You're
hitting for somebody that's somebody that can do
some
that.
ideal Olympic player that we don't have on our fucking team right now.
And yeah, he is a dick. And like, even if you start to listen to him at the beginning, how much of that shit could you take? It's like, bro, I cannot hit that. Yeah. It's like, I'll keep trying, but I'm not gonna hit that. Oh no, you fucking suck. And the game, it is a fucking blowout. Hinata's team gets fucking crushed by the other team. But anyways, when Hinata needs to take a shit, he comes across this fucking Kageyama, right? And Kageyama's like, "What are you doing, bro?" Is like, "Oh, you wasted your time trying to get here. Yeah. This and that. This whole animosity between each other, like the whole Midoriya and Bakugo thing, where he's always telling them like, you stink, you suck, you can't have."
Oh, Bakugo does use the language "stink" in the dub.
Yeah. And they lose, and just the fact that the season starts this way, as far as character development, I like it.
I do.
It's
honestly,
good.
It's because most
I'm not even trying to shit on it. I'm not even trying to say it's too kiddish or it's too what's the term for the anime?
Shonen-y?
Shonen-y is not too shonen-y.
I was just about to say most shonens have obviously most shonens try to showcase like the underdog winning, but in this case, he lost. Bro, you got your ass whooped.
I agree, because even in Hanebado, the badminton one, I'm sorry I keep referencing it. This is like a prequel to our discussion next week.
Right
but like, it's like Hanebado is what you're talking about, where it's just like, oh, she's so limber and she's left-handed and she has no body fat on her and she can jump so high, like she's a perfect badminton player. Yeah. No, we have described everything that makes sure that, like, as an audience, you're like, nah, Hinata's short, like he has no experience, he's never had a real coach.
The only thing he's got is bunnies. It's just jumps. That's
all he's got. Just the motivation of it, you know, and that's why I think like people like the idea of somebody like Jordan. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan, because even when we're watching The Last Dance 2 years ago during COVID, like The Last Dance was super popular because it's like, dude, Jordan was hungry for it. Yeah. Like Jordan was like, dog, like you cannot put me on this basketball court and not tell me, and not tell me to be the best player here. Like
he's a great example because I think there was an altercation with Jordan and another player. Like he's not supposed to be on the court. Like, bench this dude. He was telling the coach, like, no, I'm not going to bench this dude. It's like, fuck this dude. Like, his own teammate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But, I mean, hey, sometimes the hard truth is you just got to say that shit, you know?
Hey, and we talked about this. I think it was in an episode with you, CJ, that whenever it comes to, like, holy fuck, once in a lifetime fucking sport god, like, you need to have an attitude or a personality like this assholes.
Yeah, you could be like Kevin Durant and give it. Yeah, you need that mama mentality. Yeah, exactly. Because if not, you're gonna end up like Kevin Durant and just take the easy route every week.
Exactly. Okay. I know I said I like Kevin Durant, but yeah, I agree with that. Like you don't want to take that easy shortcut route. No, you need to. Bro, you need to work for that shit.
And the story you're talking about, Aldo, like Michael Jordan's coach during that like 5-6 year sprint for the Bulls, that they were just like untouchable. Like it was Phil Jackson. Like you know what I mean? Like you telling Phil Jackson, hands down the best NBA coach ever. Like, dog, I am telling you how to do your job. Bench this motherfucker. I cannot deal with him on the court right now.
He's not
like that. Is a level of bravity that like you cannot touch. You know what I mean?
Ego,
yes, dog. Like, dog, I am the best basketball player in the world. Might be one of the best basketball players that ever exist ever. I am telling you, the best basketball coach ever, get this motherfucker off my defense right now. Like, that is insane to think about. Like,
and those are those kind of personalities that we see here in fucking Haikyuu. We see personalities like that, eccentric as fuck, but like willing to work, which is very wholesome to the anime.
Well, that's the point of Hinata, because Hinata, like when you're describing him begging anybody for a set, he's busting his ass.
He's like Miss Toru. He's like Miss Toru in fucking Fruits Baskets, bro.
Yeah, kind of.
He's like the glue to the whole thing.
I have nothing. I have no support system, but I am gonna try my fucking best with what I have. Yes. Like I'm gonna ask the girls to set. For set.
Where's that fruit basket button?
Rachel would love it. But yeah, like, and that's all of episode 1. Describing, like, Hinata came from nothing. Kageyama came from everything. Like, Hinata is a much better, like his body's better. Like even though he's short, he like magically has this skill set that he can jump obscenely high and hit anything obscenely hard.
That's what I like about.
Was the player that came out in the first Space Jam? The short dude, the red dude.
Which one?
The short player. You know the first Space Jam?
Yeah. Oh, Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah, Bogues. Yeah. Muggsy Bogues. He was like 5'9", which is short.
Yeah, dude. No, he was. No. I think he was even shorter than that. I think Muggsy Bogues was like 5.
What is it?
No, that is. But like, it reminds me of Isaiah Thomas, a current NBA player, like 5'8", 5'9", but he was in that Cavalier like 2 like NBA final run, where like.
Bro, no, Isaiah Thomas is really good.
No, he wasn't there. Good. He's been with the Cavs on and off. He was not part of the finals run. That's a misspoke on my end. But right now he's on like a 2-week contract with the Hornets.
I want to see. Like, he's with somebody.
I follow Isaiah Thomas on Instagram, and like he's not a permanent mainstay of the NBA because he's short. You know what I mean? He cannot.
But
play.
He's short bro,
he can.
He's short too.
He's on that grind.
No, dude, he can
like
ball.
On all his posts, he's like hashtag that grind, hashtag because he is working like his ball handling skills because he's
Dude,
like, dog.
He's nasty, bro.
And I'm
He's
sorry
good.
we don't have any more references to volleyball, the volleyball sport itself, but like we're working with what we got.
There is a volleyball player that plays for Japan that makes me think of like a little giant. I can't remember what his name is, dude. I wish I looked it up before I got here, but but no, he actually plays for Japan, and he's like, not gonna lie, a little giant, bro. It's fucking wild. So it's like it's perfect for this.
But see, that's why Hinata's tight, because us following Hinata, having this emotional investment in Hinata already, it's like, dog, like if you really try for it and you want it, you can do anything.
Exactly.
And like that even makes Kageyama like in that game, even though they completely trounced him. Yeah, like he acknowledged him, like he recognized him, because he's like, dog, how is he jumping like that? Why does he want this that bad?
One thing I like about the anime is how they drew it. Is like basically like how the line by line sketch, bro. That like how they emphasize like how fast this kid is moving, bro. So it's like, yo, this kid is a freak in nature, man.
And back to the point of how Kageyama's mindset was of like putting this goals to his players that they couldn't meet. You know, this is expectations on his players. He would see Hinata playing. He's like, I need that over here.
Yeah.
Like in a way, he was like
he's motivated.
He's like
nobody on my team is motivated right now.
Yeah.
And as the story progresses here in Haikyuu, fucking they meet up back again in high school.
Right. Mm-hmm. So like Kageyama, despite being this like very talented volleyball player and this badass setter, he was benched in his last game, which gave him fucking some kind of PTSD. But the best team in the prefecture in terms of volleyball, he did not get into.
They denied him.
Well, it was because of his test. Him testing into the high school, he couldn't get in. Because the thing about Kageyama, like I'm describing the setter as the brains of the operation, the brains of the volleyball team, the brains of the offense. But Kageyama, outside of volleyball, is like not that bright.
Yeah.
Like he's this, like
small brute.
Do you remember, CJ, the interview after the second round of this most recent NFL playoffs where they interviewed Cooper Kupp? And they were like, hey, on that last, like, touchdown play, what were you thinking? And he's this super analytical, like, football play. Like, I saw that the defender was on the inside and the second defender was coming to the inside, but he was looking for an inside play. So I jumped to the outside and just ran my route. But then I saw that, like, the zone player was on my side, so I switched sides with him. And like, us as an audience, we're just like, what the fuck did
What the fuck, yeah.
What the fuck did he say? Like, that's Kageyama. You know what I mean? Like, Kageyama understands the technicality, the brain power for volleyball. But like outside of volleyball, he's a fucking idiot.
That's like what they call like a meathead.
Which is
volleyball, yeah.
Which is another thing that I love that they did not include a lot of the high school theme into this fucking anime.
What do you mean?
Like the high school scene, the academic side.
Oh, okay, I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, most of the show takes place in like the gym or something like that. You know what I mean? Where they're like basically.
I mean, they do make like character development, but it is all the time. It's only on volleyball. It's not like in the classroom, which I love. Like you know my fucking take on like having to take these characters into a high school theme. But like here is just not used so eccentrically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly fine. Like to CJ's point, like it makes sense. You know what I mean? The few points in season 2 actually that they bring up like final selection, final test, being like, dog, you have to test so and so, or you're not playing in volleyball. They're like, motherfucker, like
Coach Carter shit.
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking about like the Coach Carter. It's a Disney production, or for some reason Disney owns it. And I'm like, this is fucking anime. Like this is a fucking American production live action anime story.
Okay.
Because it is like
that's
it is
true.
The same
That's true.
thing.
I agree. Yeah.
It is the same thing. It's so classic because it's so tropey.
Yes.
And it fits well,
which is why it's
together.
easily digestible.
Correct,
You know what I mean?
correct.
I understand these tropes. I understand, like, I don't need a backstory from anybody because I know these tropes. I know these character writing.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like earlier, Hinata orange. Sasuke is normally assigned with blue. And guess who's blue? Kageyama.
Sasuke...
And they're both basically the like main like bi-protagonists of the story, bro. So they're the main characters of the story. You know what I mean? So it's like Sasuke.
All you're telling me is that Sasuke is a tsundere. We're describing all this like backlash and all these ways to describe Kageyama because like episode 2 starts, or I think it's the episode 1, the end of episode 1 actually, is that like both Hinata and Kageyama get into Karasuno High School. They go to the volleyball gym at the end of the day, and they're arguing with each other. They're just being fucking little fucking kids about it.
Well, doesn't he like stumble upon it because he's just like, oh my god, the gym, I can't fucking wait to go play in the gym, and he just sees this motherfucking Kageyama fucking practicing his spikes, practicing his sets, and he's just like, wait a minute, aren't you that kid from the fucking tournament? Boom! End episode 1.
Immediate animosity, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Episode 2 starts, and it's just them arguing and being fucking bitchy towards each other. So to the point,
which is kind of weird for somebody that you just like, you don't really know, but you kind of know.
Well, it's just anime magic. It's just anime.
I get it, but that's weird. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's
I agree, but I think it works in context because like them arguing right there lets the club captain be like, yo, y'all get the fuck off my court, like get the fuck out of the gym, you're being fucking childish and weird, like we're a team here, like y'all can be some fucking weirdos until you all decide that you can work together, do not come back in the gym. So we get literally, there's so many
that like, Coach Carter thing,
there's so many like training episodes, there's so many like shonen training montages in this bitch,
which I think is good because
it's really
in the sake of a team sport like volleyball, you have to work with your teammates, you know what I mean? So if you can't even like, so for example, let's say we're both on a football or any sport team, and if we're already bickering at each other, you're like, okay, we're already off to a bad fucking start. So unless you guys can work together, we're not going to be able to progress. Which I agree.
And not only did the anime take the season 2 of Hunter x Hunter treatment as far as being descriptive of their own power scale.
Good reference.
It also has like, oh fuck, what was my point? I had a really good point, I forgot it. But okay, not only did it have the description of it, there you go, the training montages, the training arcs, the training episodes, the training 5 minutes of every episode is fucking a training episode. But again, it is so Coach Carterly because if you wanna develop an attachment to a certain theme, trope, area, the best way to do it in a sports theme anime is to have training stuff, you know, and having
that's the Rocky franchise's like most famous bit.
Exactly, it's like he fails and then he gets back again.
Because this training montage specifically is the coach telling Kageyama and Hinata, like, we're going to do a 2v2 unless you guys can prove to the team that you guys can work together and you win the 2v2 match.
No, it's a 3v3, actually.
3v3, then you will not be part of this team. So we get a whole episode. All of episode 2 is just Kageyama and Hinata just practicing with each other.
2 hours before actual practice started.
Yeah, so, like...
But don't they get assigned, what's his name? Tanaka. Tanaka is their third, he's the senpai. He's the older one. He's the second year, right?
He's a year 2.
Yeah. He's a year 2, second year. And he's the one that's assigned on their team for the 3v3. So he's like, yo, you're with them in order to help them.
Right. And honestly, Tanaka might be one of my favorites on the team.
Because
like...
Tanaka.
I
love Tanaka.
He's the cholo of the group.
Dude,
bro.
he's
like,
so,
you know, like,
gangster,
I described this like last week when describing Fruits Basket. I described what's her face in Fruits Basket, the gangster girl, as being the chola. And like, I'm in love with the idea right now of classifying anime characters as cholas because
he's the one you want in your corner, bro.
You know what I mean? If you just get boxed somebody for
bro,
me,
he's
it's
the one you
fault.
want in your corner,
like, if
bro.
there's anybody that's gonna box somebody for me, it's him.
It's like, bro, we're about to squab, so I know my boy Tanaka.
So the thing about Tanaka is, like, if volleyball practice starts like an hour and a half before school starts, so at 7 in the morning, that means that if Hinata and Kageyama want time in the gym to practice their spikes and the sets, then they need to show up like an hour to 2 hours before 7 a.m. So they're showing up to the gym, they're showing up to campus at like 5 a.m., bro.
And that's not waking up at 5 a.m. You wake up at 4.
Well, for Hinata, because he lives like in the mountain range, so doesn't it take him like 30 minutes in order to get to the on bike, bro? He bikes to the school. That's dedication.
But that's tight because like no wonder Tanaka like is kind of like underhandedly getting like keys to the gym and letting them in, because the thing about the team captain is here
Daichi.
Daichi Sawamoto. He already said no, they're not allowed in the gym, but he kind of figures that Tanaka's gonna like sneak them into the gym. Yeah. So when like Tanaka, who's like the least motivated member of the volleyball team, is like, hey, can I borrow the key? I'll open up tomorrow. I swear I'll already be here before everyone else gets here. Like, he gives the lowdown to Kageyama and Hinata, being like, nah, dog, show up at 5. I'll be here, and y'all can practice. So you can. So I want y'all to make this team, because imagine you're somebody like Kageyama, who was a middle school prodigy. You had to settle for this high school and their volleyball team because you couldn't test your way into a better program. So, like, this is it for you. Like, you're
not making it, it's going to give you serious security problems.
Well, you need to just choose a whole new life path if you can't make this volleyball team right now. Yeah. For Hinata, it's just like, oh, all I know is volleyball. All I want to do is play volleyball. Please just let me play volleyball. Like, I will work with Kageyama, I swear to God.
And the captain is the one that brings attention to this.
Yeah.
Which is really good for character development.
He sees that they can work together almost. Because, like, even in this one, like, interaction, he sees Hinata's jump, and he's just like, that's not natural.
Yeah, like, this guy's a freak.
Hey, what? How'd you do that? Who's your daddy? Where the fuck?
Who's your daddy, bro? Because that's wild.
Because even the end of episode 2 is where we get introduced to the rest of the first years. It's Tsukishima and Yamaguchi. Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, and Tsukishima is the 6'2" character that you were describing earlier. That is going to be like their new like defensive end on the front part when like he's in front of the net.
Which I think is crazy because for example, like me coming from a basketball background, he's only 6'2". So in basketball, that's kind of short, to be honest. Yeah. But in volleyball world, I guess in Japan, 6'2" is, bro. Yeah, 6'2" is like, yo, you're a fucking freak of nature, bro. Like, you're way up there. So that's,
and like, he's a blonde dude. I mean, he's definitely like not Japanese.
So when I saw that he was up there in height, I was like, yo, this kid is a.
I like Tsukishima more in season 2 when we get his backstory.
Yeah.
Like, we really learn about his brother.
I hated him the first season. I'm like, wow.
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to. Yeah, the way his character is written, yeah, you're definitely.
But I'm just like, oh, dog. You again.
So,
you again.
So they do the practice match, episode 3, right? It's Tsukishima and
Yamaguchi
and Daichi versus Hinata, Kageyama, and Tanaka. Mm-hmm. So this is where like they really show the secret weapon that is their high school volleyball team. Mm-hmm. And that is Kageyama and Hinata. And that's because Kageyama is such a confident setter that he will set up any set that he thinks will win that point, right? And the thing about Hinata is he's such a willing setter that he will swing at anything as long as it's set up for him.
Exactly.
So the new secret weapon that is Karasu no Hai is their. Is it a swift attack or
the quick attack?
Quick attack. Thank you. Is there a quick attack? Is that Kageyama will set up this super high powered set, and that Hinata will just like swing at with all his might.
It's basically a testament to Kageyama's like
skill,
aim. Yeah, like his aim. Like
he's such a good setter.
I can aim exactly where you're going to need to hit that shit in order for you to like.
Like imagine like a baseball pitcher like intentionally make you foul the ball.
You know
what I'm saying?
That's a thing.
The way I see it is like, just think of the perfect point guard for every alley-oop you ever want to do, no matter what. He'll throw it exactly where you need it to dunk that shit.
The alley-oop's a good example.
Yeah, like no matter where you need no matter where you need it, he will throw it exactly where you need your hands to be in order to just bang that bitch. Yeah.
To the point that Hinata doesn't even open his eyes.
Yeah, bro. He's just like, I trust you, man.
Like, I know it's here. Like,
I know it's gonna be here when I swing.
You have too much like ADHD to like look at the ball. Just close your eyes and be here.
Which that's a big thing in the latter half of season 1 is the act of Hinata trying to practice the quick attack while opening his fucking eyes. Like,
let me get some accuracies to this shit.
So they have this unblockable alley-oop, basically, right? Like, imagine when Wade and LeBron were working together and Wade would lob it up for LeBron. Like, you couldn't block that. You couldn't block that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
So you
was
just
7 foot man just running at you.
Just fucking 280 pounds, just dominating.
Somebody as big and strong as LeBron, like, no, I'm out of the way.
Yeah,
like,
get moving.
Like,
I'm getting out the way.
So this is this practice game reaffirms this, because like, even though like the last 2 episodes have shown that Kageyama and Hinata are the polar opposites of personalities, fucking hate each other. They are the perfect volleyball duo for that reason. But this episode sets up a theme from Daichi, the team captain, that like you were describing, CJ, the brains of this operation, the core of this quick attack is Kageyama. Mm-hmm. Like, the most talented portion of this bit is Kageyama. Like, Hinata is just getting up, kind of.
Yeah.
And just, like, down to swing at anything. Like, that's where he's talented in this bit.
But then Daichi, we find out that he's so good technically wise.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about, like, defending being the hardest part about volleyball, probably. Daichi, as opposed to the Libero that we're introduced to, like, the very next episode, Daichi is probably the best defender.
I think he's the best all-around player.
Yeah, he's like, where do you need me?
Sure. He's a wing spiker. He's a middle defender sometimes. He is probably their best receiver besides the Libero.
And he can serve.
And he can serve. And he can serve.
Honestly, I think serving is
crazy.
Bro, that's, to me, for one, you're all on your own. Yeah. Like, that's all you. So if you miss or mistake,
a quote from the anime. What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, you're all by yourself, bro. Like,
it's like a golf
shot.
Just
you. That's why it's so. Yeah. That's why I think it's like serving is one of the. If you can serve really good, I think that's like such a super underestimated bonus to your like.
That's a major part of season 1. So the most terrifying players in all of season 1 are people that can do high-powered serves. Mm-hmm. So, like, we get our team together, right? Like, they make the team okay. They made the practice match, even if they didn't win. Like, as long as they prove they can work together, they're going to make the team. You know what I mean? We get our Libero back. No. I'm skipping ahead. Come episode 7, we get an episode called Versus the Great King. Because the plot of this episode is that the team sponsor, like the faculty member,
the manager.
No, the manager is the girl. Mm-hmm. That's her title. It's the faculty member in charge of the team. Like, if they're a high school volleyball team, the faculty member,
the club lead,
Takeda,
right? So Takeda, Mr. Takeda, he's a teacher at the school. Mm-hmm. He is the sponsor of the volleyball team. It's like from K-On. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he is able to secure he knows nothing about volleyball. He's not a coach. He's just motivated by the team and the talent he sees on the
it's like,
team.
These kids want to do something.
Right. So I have to support them.
And nobody wants to support them. Like, let me at least do it.
Right. So, like, his big win as, like, the team sponsor is that he wins he secures a practice match with Alba Josa.
And in the underline, like, we get, like, a story of, like, a defamation of the team from Kusaro school. What is it? What's the school? Kurasuno? Karasuno. Sorry, Karasuno. From the Karasuno school, we see that there's like this this letdown of their volleyball story.
Right.
We are led to believe that the club,
I think they're called
the Wingless
Crows.
Yeah, and we as we're getting this story behind the coach / manager, whatever, what is it? Takeda?
Ukai?
Or
Yukai.
Yeah, Ukai. Yeah, but
no, not the coach.
Takeda.
Takeda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Takeda. He is under the pressure of getting at least some scrimmage games.
Yes.
Which is something that's essential to any athlete.
But, you see how hard he's working. Like, the big, character writing theme for Takeda is that he has no shame. You know what I mean?
It's a good character.
I love him. I love him. He's the biggest diehard for the Cross of Volleyball.
It's a pillar of the entire story, bro.
Because, you're talking about, how important scrimmages are.
Haikyuu's great. Watch it.
And, the idea of Japanese, honor is that you do not defame yourself. You know, that's you shaming your family, that's you shaming yourself, that's you shaming your girl. A la Will Smith or some shit.
I have such a good point about Takeda, but I'll bring it up later, way later on.
Okay, and Takeda will literally go out of his way to beg, bow and beg to people, being like, play with our team.
That was part of the dialogue. I don't know much about volleyball, but I'll beg people to play.
Isn't that what he said to Coach Ukai when he tried to recruit him? He was like, no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm gonna get you to be our coach.
And the idea behind the Wingless Crows is that Karasuno was the best volleyball team in the prefecture when they had the Tiny Giant, who's Hinata's hero, and they had this super old ass a la Coach Phil Jackson, we were just talking about.
Much, yeah.
Coach Yukai, volleyball player, who was this badass, hard ass, traditional volleyball player that led them to the national championship. So now Karasuno has none of those. They don't have these hyper offensive players. They don't have this badass fucking coach. So them securing a scrimmage game with one of the best teams in the prefecture, Alba Josai, is crazy. That them just securing that is a pity match.
But then one of the things in the agreement was that Kageyama was supposed to
be the setter. Yeah, he had to be the setter.
Correct. Yeah. And we get into what started as this maybe infantile fucking story arc. It became oh fuck. The friends that it's because we haven't really explained of the king of the court thing,
right?
Betrayal of Kageyama,
right?
Kageyama. When it was before the middle school tournaments, I'm assuming, and we're led to believe to the audience, that Kageyama throughout the whole season was being a crazy dickhole.
Yeah, he was just setting up unhittable sets and not giving a shit about his teammates, and he'd yell at them when they wouldn't hit his sets.
I think it's a difference between unhittable, but in his mind, he's like, yo, this is hittable. If you were actually athletic, if you could actually go to your best, you could hit this. But the fact that you're kind of you know what I mean? I'm kind of half-assed about that. Obviously you're not gonna hit that.
So it turns out that Kageyama's teammates in middle school, towards the end of that season, towards when we get to that middle school tournament, they were tired of his shit, and they made the nickname King of the Court because he was just
dictator.
He was a dictator.
Very egocentric.
Yeah, exactly. So as a setter, and this is what the anime is telling us to get a grasp emotionally of, is that a setter is somebody that you should trust.
If your setter sucks, your volleyball team sucks.
Yeah,
exactly. So to be a setter, it's something. The honor thing that we're talking about with Japanese culture is I'm not gonna set you up if I know you're not willing, because I don't want you to abandon me like my other teammates.
Right.
And that's the first scrimmage game that they get to. They get into that school that he tried to get into. Alba Josai. And one of his old teammates is there.
Yeah, pretty much all of his old teammates.
Yeah, all of his old teammates. A lot of their spikers were Kageyama's old teammates.
And they all happen to go to Alba Josai.
The significant portion, the most important player on Alba Josai's team is their setter. Their starting setter, who does not start for most of the scrimmage game. His name is Oikawa. Oikawa was basically Kageyama's senpai as a setter during his entire middle school career, because he's the one that taught Kageyama how to do these power serves, taught him how to set. But like Oikawa is this hyper,
not only a setter but a server.
Right, but he's this hyper talented player, but he doesn't have the natural talent that like Kageyama has. Like Kageyama has like almost like a sixth sense about how to set up and plays, which is why like Hinata is the only person able to hit Kageyama's players. Like kind of, but not really.
Jordan Scotty.
It's the opposite. It's like if Scottie Pippen could not play, could not set up Jordan properly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Oikawa is more like Pippen in this way because he's somebody busting his ass.
Talking about 90s Bulls.
Yeah, for real. Like somebody that like is like able to set up his most offensive players. Somebody that's hyper smart for the game. Somebody that studies tape, studies material, studies the game as a whole. Like that's Scottie Pippen. Kageyama's more like Jordan because like he's like, nah, everybody needs to fit to my game plan. I'm the most talented person on this fucking court right now. Yeah, if you're not able to hit my serves, then my sets, then that means you suck dick.
Yeah,
and you need to get the fuck off my team right now.
You need to boost yourself up.
So, and that's the difference right here because, and that's the difference between Oikawa being like the senpai here. He taught Kageyama all he knows. He taught him those power sets. He taught him those power serves, like all that shit. But like Kageyama just being the more naturally talented player, Oikawa hates him for that. He's like, dude, like I am maybe in the top 3 most valuable players in our prefecture, but given time, you're gonna beat me no matter what. Like there's nothing I can do. Yeah. There's no amount of ass that I can like try to bust that like is gonna get you, is gonna get me in your position because you're just what I'm not. Like I have the motivation, I have the work ethic, but I'm just not you at the end of the day.
And throughout this whole like episode and a half, it's the whole pressure of Kageyama's past. Like he needs to detach himself from that, which he does, and he comes around beautifully. Like they tie the bow so swiftly because as his teammates are judging him from their prejudice from their prejudice, they think he's gonna act a certain way when he actually like motivates and leads Hinata. He's like, yo, dog, it's like...
Because you're right. We were only talking about Oikawa. But, like, all their offensive players are Kageyama's old teammates from middle school. So as soon as they see him, like, at, like, their
we
gym...
know how he plays. We know how he plays.
Yeah. Like, no one's going to be able to hit his sets. Like, this is a fucking wash.
Just block and that's it.
Yes, exactly. Because... Like we're describing Oikawa, he doesn't show up until the last like 3 sets. Like they play 2 whole matches. Like if volleyball's the best of 3, they play most of 2 matches just without Oikawa. And like this is what gets Alba Josai so interested in their quick attack because we still don't have Karasuno's main ace. We still don't have our libero. But, like, the plays that we are hitting, like, talking about Tanaka and Daichi, like, they're very average aces. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Hinata hitting these unhittable sets and just, like, hitting it at 80 miles an hour like we're talking about. Like, they're just like, what the fuck was that? Like, who the fuck are these 2 fucking nerds that can hit this unhittable, like, unblockable set at 80 miles an hour? Like, that's impossible.
And again, something that is telling you that it's happening in such a small space as, like, a volleyball court, like, the animation of Hinata just making that switch between left and right of the net, just going over because fucking Kageyama knows where he's gonna set it, sets it, and just fucking hits it. It just looks ridiculous. And I want to point out a very good, and I'm still thinking about it if it's really good or not. But like the animation decision of putting the opponent's faces on top of the net.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know why?
I
It's
like
the
that.
manga's
I
like
like
that.
that.
The
Yeah,
manga's like that.
I like that they do that.
I understand
really
in the
like
manga, like on paper, I understand it, but like to make it into the animation, maybe they just wanted to tie it more into the
What
manga.
Alda's describing is like, so obviously if you're talking to your opponent, you're seeing them like between a net. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But the way the anime and the manga are drawn and written is that like, if I'm talking to CJ, who's on the opposite side of the net, they will not draw the lines of the net between CJ's face. They will
just
outline
showcase
CJ's face
Yeah.
and then like
fade
the
it
net
out.
around him,
Correct.
which makes for really good like discourse. Cause,
I like that they do that.
Every
I
game
really
is like this in this, especially in season 1, where it's just like people talking shit to each other, being like, "Ha, I'm gonna block you," but like their face
see
isn't
the full
obscured
thing,
or
yeah.
anything.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like the feeling of Hinata's feeling for the wall, and like the wall that he cannot penetrate, or the iron wall of this later team that we played later on in the season. Like it's so emphasized that I'm like, you really didn't want me to see a net between our players talking? That would emphasize the idea even more to me.
Okay,
like
I get
it.
you.
I don't like it.
Oh,
I don't like it. I don't know how I feel about it. It looks good as I'm watching it, but like that whole idea of the net being there and the wall being there, it's almost not even rewarding to that idea to have that face.
I get exactly what you mean. That's crazy. I actually never heard.
I always like that part.
Yeah, I always like that.
No,
they
don't
do
get
that.
me
I see
wrong.
all those points.
It's
I
an
understand all those
interesting. It's an
points.
interesting decision. I don't mind it, but I feel like if you really want to emphasize of how much an issue is the wall for a spiker, or for, you know what I'm saying, for a
The ace or something.
the ace to be like, it feels like that just doesn't give that much credit to what that point
That's
is
actually a
making.
crazy point, although that's actually
Hey,
really
it's
good.
first heard of here in between her.
Yeah, that's actually I've never heard someone say that.
So the game happens. We're winning most of the time, and the like our team, Kurasuno, doesn't start shitting themselves until their official like starting setter, who was apparently hurt and coming off like an injury, Oikawa, like enters the game, and then they see his sets, like these like single ace sets that
Man.
like.
I like how they drew it in the anime. They basically took out the colors, like the way the animation changes.
They take out like
completely
the outline from like Oikawa's character model. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the running scenes from Devilman Crybaby.
Okay, I get you.
Because in Devilman Crybaby, they try to make their running of the demons look so like disjointed and ugly and forward lunging, and that's how Oikawa's sets look.
Yeah.
Like he looks so like fluid in his motion, it doesn't look like a person.
One thing I can say is in the anime is I really like the music that they played. What was it, like the trumpets and stuff?
The music
oh
is
my
really
god,
good.
dude, that shit was so good.
The music is really good.
Right when I heard his like little like I guess you could say like quote unquote theme song, like I was like, yo, this guy's fucking. I know something badass is about to fucking happen.
Yeah, because it reminds me like playing Zelda, like more specifically Breath of the Wild, when you get close to one of those like guardians, like the mechanical guardians, and there's like
music like that.
yeah, and I'm like, oh fuck, something crazy is gonna happen.
And like they win the game, so Kurasuno wins the game, but like that's kind of just because Oikawa wasn't there the whole time.
Yeah,
he
pretty
wasn't
much.
there the whole game, and that's like it's super uplifting, like as an audience perspective, because we want Kurasuno to win, but at the same time you're supposed to take it with a grain of salt, being like
yo,
their
if he
best
was
player
there, yeah,
wasn't playing.
yeah. If he was there, I wonder what would have happened.
And like it's also clear that he just like didn't take them seriously, because we also see clips in that episode of
They
the coach.
win the game? I thought they lost the game.
No,
They
they
won
win
the
it
game.
because Hinata, they do the quick at the last second, and fucking Oikawa was like, "Yo, okay."
Oh, okay.
That's
okay,
when
okay.
that's when Oikawa gets like the first
Oikawa.
gets like the first taste of the quick, that he was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Okay, I get what these guys are all about.
But that's why the Alba Josai like coach bitches at Oikawa, being like, "Dog, that's super disrespectful. They came all the way the fuck out here. They said we made them play with their ace. I mean, with their setter. You should have been here.
You should have been here.
Like, if you could have played it all, then you wouldn't have played. But you didn't wait. You waited until the end because you were just being kind of like a little bitch.
A dick,
you know what I mean? You were just being a dick.
You're just kind of being like a I don't know what the fuck the word is. Like a diva. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Divas.
And that, so I appreciate that portion, like, from an audience perspective, because it's like the coaches take this seriously. Every coach that we meet, like, really takes this seriously.
That's what I like about the coaches.
Caruso still doesn't have a coach.
No, we still
at this point, no.
We don't get
well, we have
like
a coach, but he
episodes.
doesn't want to be the coach. Yeah,
we don't get coached for like 4 more episodes because the next like couple episodes are about these. So the libero qualifies to come back to volleyball club again
after the 1 month like detention that he had.
Right, and this is Nishinoya. So Nishinoya comes back. He was on probation / like academic suspension for like a month or so. And this stems from an argument he was having with Karasuno's ace Asahi, where Asahi basically got shut down in the game so bad he's like, nah, dog, I'm quitting volleyball. That shit was embarrassing. And Nishinoya being like if you're the libero for the team, you're the defender of the team, you feel like you have to defend your boys. It's how Nishinoya's character is written.
And I feel like that's my favorite character.
Nishinoya is a fine favorite character.
Yo,
you know what I mean? Like,
bro, he's a big fan favorite. I can tell you that much.
Understandably. So the argument that got Nishinoya suspended was him and Asahi, the team spiker, were having an argument in the hallway because Asahi's the third year, Nishinoya's the second year. They were in an argument in the hallway where Asahi's basically like, dog, like, nah, that was embarrassing. I'm quitting. I suck. This shit's ass. And Nishinoya being like, dog, what do you mean? Like, I'm here for you. Like, you are my ace. I am here to pick up your blocked hits. I am here to pick up your missed serves. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm here for you. How are you going to quit? And the gimmick here, it's almost like a Looney Tunes-esque gimmick, is that there's a vase in the hallway. Yeah. That he knocks over. Like, as a loud person, I can say this. It's easy to misjudge your environment. It's easy to misjudge your environment sometimes. So Nishinoya, being this loud person, speaking with his hands and eccentric movements, he raised his arm out and almost knocked over.
He gets mad at me for doing it.
He almost knocked over this vase that the assistant vice principal had to like pick up, and that like knocked off his toupee. No, it didn't knock off his toupee. That's a later scene.
That's a before scene.
It's a before scene. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But anyway, so Nishinoya almost breaking this piece of the school's like art history and like almost assaulting the assistant vice principal got him suspended for a month. So that's where we're at right now. So Nishinoya comes back, and he basically tells Daichi, the club president or the club captain, like, I am not coming back unless you get our setter back, Asahi. So then we get like 2 whole episodes of Kageyama and Hinata like begging Asahi, being like, dog, come back. Like, please, like, there's no way we can win any of these games without a real libero like Nishinoya.
And I'm gonna come back to character design. I really love the character design because everybody
for Nishinoya.
For
everyone
everybody
in general.
In our team, like, if you're anime watchers like we are, you notice the difference between a character design for the hero of the story and like a villain to the story, and like they are, like, even like Asahi, like, he's a tall dude. Humble as fuck.
With a man bun.
Man bun. And he's like, you know what? I got too embarrassed from like my last match. I'm not gonna play.
Which I think is a weak reason to quit.
But when we get to our opponents, like in all their different teams, bro, like the villains are so well designed. Yeah. And their changes so minute that, like, fuck, what is Dragon Ball doing? Like, god damn it.
Like, talking about One Piece again, everyone was mad for like a week because everyone thought that Luffy's most recent transformation made him blonde, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is a fucking Dragon Ball ripoff." Blah 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 blah. This is ass.
Gentrification.
Yeah, this shit's ass. But then, like, the most recent chapter, it came out that like it's actually his hair and clothes are turning white, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, this is
okay,
fine.
that makes sense." Yeah, like, oh, okay.
So I see what you mean about like, especially like shonen character design, because like I'm not gonna skip through the semantics, which are these couple episodes, but like they do get Asahi back. Like we get literally like almost for how like neck breaking the speed of this anime is. We do get like lulls here and there, and it's like trying to motivate characters. We get
they get him back through like circumstance, doesn't it? Because he's kind of like, let me see what's going on in the gym right now, and then the coach is like, "Yo, we're down to play. We need you to get up."
He's playing hard to get. He's just playing hard to get.
So Hinata and Kageyama like talk to him outside of his homeroom class and like, "Dog, like please let us get you back." Hinata's a badass decoy. I'm a badass setter. Like. Please let us play with
bro,
you.
You don't understand. We're good this year, bro. Just come back. Yeah.
But what gets them back is like after that conversation, he starts like randomly walking by the gym, by the club room, trying to see what's going on. And what's his name? The club sponsor, the faculty member with the glasses,
Takeda.
Takeda is able to convince the grandson of the legendary coach, Ukai, that got Kurasuno to the finals. Like their grandson is now their head coach, potentially, because he goes down to Coach Yukai's convenience store almost. It's just like a neighborhood shop kind of, where he's able to like beg him, and through like sheer breakdown of willpower, Coach Yukai is finally like, fine, I'll go see these fucking kids play. Whatever.
Well, it wasn't until that Takeda tells him, he's like, "Yo, we're playing against Nekoma," and that's when Coach Yukai is like, "Yo, wait a minute. Karasuno's been a rival of Nekoma for so many years. He's like, I'm not about to let y'all tarnish fucking Karasuno's name like that." He's like, "All right, I guess I'll coach y'all for this game just because I don't want y'all to fucking disrespect us like that."
And that's a good segue to my point of like loving the aspect of what it makes like a fan know about like this lore of matches, because it will following the Karasuno school, which is some way the team is some way translated to crows, and their main rival are the cats. They call it the trash can match,
the dumpster
match, and to me that's so cool, because it's something that only you as a soccer hooligan or as a fucking volleyball enthusiast like would know about.
I get what you mean, and like we already know, like as a Between Nerds audience, that Neko means cat. And me and Aldo went into this a lot when we watched one of the Neko. We watched Neko Monogatari.
Yeah.
So and Neko Monogatari
Not
Black.
Neko, it was
it's called Neko Monogatari Black, which is when the girl turns into like the demon cat and like cuts him apart. So we already knew that bit. You know what I mean? So we're talking. So.
But talking in terms of a trash can match, like I just love that aspect of the whole narrative.
I think it's cool because when we talk about Coach Yukai. The original Coach Yukai, this Coach Yukai's grandfather, was coaching these matches. Nekoma and Karasuno would have these matches because they're technically not in the same like district or the same like competitive prefecture.
A school district, kind of.
Right, so they would never actually play each other in a real match.
Unless it was in like the last brackets.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what they're describing is a historical, like outside of district scrimmage that let them both be independently like terrifying in their independent like prefectures. Because imagine like
they call it clandestine like scrimmages.
Yeah, which is like
really street level shit.
It's corny. It's corny as fuck, but like it gets me into it because it's like, dog, like I'm not worried about the most prominent players in my prefecture because I played the most prominent like Correct. Team in this other prefecture.
It's like underground Pokemon like matches.
And it's tight, you know what I mean? Because like for Takeda to secure this match. And, like, he's always bugging the grandson Yukai, being like, coach for us, coach for us, coach for us. And, like, the minute he hears, like, dog, in 2 weeks we are playing Nekama. And he'd be like, you're playing fucking who?
Nekama. No, you're not. He's like,
shut your bitch ass up. Like, not. Stop fucking lying.
Not without me.
Not for real. In 2 weeks we're playing Nekama. Okay, shut the fuck up. Y'all probably suck dick. Like, I'm going to
I'll step up. He's like,
yeah.
All right, let me help y'all.
And, like, he's a Karasuno alumni, too.
Mm-hmm.
So not only was his grandfather the head coach of the team, but he's like he has like when I talk about Texas Tech like affiliations and like I get excited about certain matches with teams, like that's how he is. He's just like Karasuno playing Nekama. Nah, I'm there. Like and I can influence how the game goes. Nah, I'm there. There's no way I am not performing.
He's like, if I can help y'all beat Nekama, Karasuno's biggest rival since like forever, he's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna.
And we get a coach. And
Coach Yukai.
Yeah, we get a coach.
But I want to talk about his character design real quick. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about his character design real quick.
I'd love to hear.
He has long drawn back hair in like a hairband.
Why does it remind me of Food Wars?
But that's what I'm saying. His hair is dyed bleach blonde because he's a gangster. We talked about this in our Toradora episode. Where like when you dye your hair blonde, that's you breaking the school dress code and like being a rebel because it's not allowed. You know what I mean? So this grandson, Coach Yukai, being like more rebellious than his grandfather, being an alumni student of both his grandfather, who was the head coach, and of the school, like he is what you would superficially assume the least motivated person to care about a high school volleyball team. He's the most motivated because he has all these altering motivations besides like him just wanting to dye his hair blonde because it's something different.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Aldo? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that. What was I gonna say?
Anyway, you'll think about it in a second. We'll keep talking about like what's going on right now.
Okay.
So they bring back Coach Yukai. They're able to convince. Okay.
I remember. So now we get a coach.
Yeah.
Which again, I love the writing style of this because previous to our team getting a coach, the team really had no direction.
Yeah.
And you're not led to be like
it was just Daichi, the team captain, being like, "Yo, you serve the short." Yeah.
And you don't take in consideration this until you get a coach, because the coach is like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Why are you guys lining up like this? Why are the changes like this?" It's like we need to put these people up front when these people are up front, because the whole volleyball thing is fucking crazy. So you have to, as a coach, the changes that your opponent makes, you have to counteract to that, as any other fucking sport. But like, it is so live in the moment because you can make ultimate changes at any time.
Yeah.
It's cool, like Coach Yukai's introduction, because he also brings in his friends from the neighborhood volleyball association. Because like him showing up to practice the first day, he brings his friends from the neighborhood volleyball association. He's like, we're gonna play a quick 2-on-2, like 3-on-3. And like we're gonna see, so he intermatches like the neighborhood volleyball association with players from the team, and like he wants to see their strengths and weaknesses, and like right away he's like, okay, Kageyama's got it, like that quick attack is deadly, but like immediately he notices like
we don't have good servers.
Yeah,
we have no good receives. His biggest thing right away was like, dog, we have no defense. We have no receiving power. We like,
everybody
sucks. Yeah,
like Hinata's taking balls to the face, just like blah. Oh fuck!
I'm not gonna lie, that's a recurring like theme to it. Like,
I'm sure,
Hinata
but
gets,
like that's how emphasized the shitty defense that we have right now.
And like it's a dual purpose episode, because not only is it introducing Coach Yukai and introducing the neighborhood volleyball association, introducing their hiccups as a team, but this is the first time that Asahi is playing with the team again. So Asahi is walking by the volleyball court or like the gym, like as they're having this conversation, and Coach Yukai sees him outside. And Nishinoya is the first one to introduce him. Be like, fuck yeah, Asahi's here. Come in, dog. Why aren't you in uniform? Get dressed. Let's go. Like, come on, we're playing. Let's go. I was just looking. Yeah, and Coach Yukai still not knowing what's going on. He's just like, hey, you fucking loser, get the fuck in here. We're playing. Why the fuck weren't you in court again?
I'm gonna fail you.
I'm the head coach. Yeah, I'm gonna fail you. I'm not gonna bench you. Like, he doesn't even understand the situation, which I think like I love because like imagine. Every high school club you're a part of, like at the end of the day, teachers don't give a shit about the high school drama. They really don't.
In America,
there's a fuck ton of high school drama everywhere, but no one gives a shit.
Teachers in Japan get paid good.
but Coach Yukai, not knowing the situation because he's not a teacher, he's not a faculty member, he's a voluntary coach. Right. He's just get your ass in here. Like, why aren't you part of your team? Like, just get the fuck in here.
Yeah.
And that's what convinces Asahi to be part of the team again.
And it's like, to our Western viewers, it's like Bad News Bears. It's like the one guy that knows how to play is like get in the team and he's just like doesn't want to. But he gets talked into being.
Well, I mean, literally the plot to Bad News
Bears. Yeah. Well, it's mostly because of like Hinata and what's his name, Kageyama, showing off their fucking weirdo quick attacks that they have and shit. And that's when Asahi is just like, yo,
they really can.
Yeah, he's like, I really think these guys can. Yeah, I really think these guys can.
And if you guys allow me to really back as far as like the strategies that the team has, it's that now with Kageyama being able to set this amazing spikes from Hinata, not only are they able to do that, but now it opens a setup to Tanaka, who's also a striker. Right. So they've been rolling with that before the coach, and that's what I wanted to really back up.
That's what happened in the Alba Josai game.
Correct. So that's what I wanted to mention.
Hinata's official position is not that of an ace, which is what Hinata wants, but he's a decoy.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. As far as like the narrative, dude, like this is where I'm like, oh my god, like I want more of this because not like them putting into canon that not like once you perfect something, we can perfect something else. And it's just so fluent to the story. It's not shonen-y at all.
You know what it reminds me of?
It's just so technical, and I love it.
It reminds me of when you're playing an RPG and you get like a new weapon or a new ability, a new power, and you respec your whole build for something.
Exactly, because you're like, okay, now I'm good at the broadsword. But I suck. But I just got this longsword. Yeah. But I suck at the bow and arrow.
Yeah, I need a spec for this badass bow and arrow that just dropped. Like that's how it feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that is the best fucking. That is the best words to put it in because it is like that. And fuck, dude, like now I'm seeing Haikyuu in this other fucking pedestal because the video game tactics to what they do is fucking ridiculous.
Which, if anything, maybe RPGs were stolen from real life. Like the role-playing game aspect is you speccing to like
your own life.
Yeah, exactly.
Spec your own life, nerds.
Yeah, inspect your own life, nerds.
Are you good at cooking? Maybe you should get good at being sporty.
But the fact that he says video games, I think that ties into perfectly to who they're playing next, which is Nekoma. Yeah, which they tie into. What's that boy's name? The gamer nerd, that one that Natsu runs into.
Right. It's Kozume.
Kozume, which I think is the fact that he's like playing video games and is a big gamer nerd. I mean, we're all gamers here, so we all know we're all nerds, obviously. So it's like I think that plays into a big factor into how Kozume plays, because he's like, all right, I'm gonna study you first. Like a video game, I'm going to study you how your patterns work, how this works, and then I'm going to be able to beat you.
So, to lead up to that, like, leading up to the Nekoma game, they secure, like, a training facility almost. Mm-hmm. Like it's on campus, but, like, immediately outside of campus, it's like they're staying there, and they're having, like, a boot camp of sorts.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, so, They show up super early. They stay on campus so that they don't have to leave, so that they can practice super late. And the thing about this training sequence is that they're learning each other as a team, because Asahi's been here. What's his name? The libero Nishinoya hasn't been here. It's the first time that they're all interacting with Kageyama and Hinata. But while they're performing a jog one day and they're training and they're getting ready, that's when Hinata kind of falls out of their running line, and that's when he runs up to Kozumi for the first time.
Basically runs off on his own, yeah.
Right. So they're training in inner Tokyo, which is where the Nekama school is. Mm-hmm. So him running into Kozumi is just kind of on the sidewalk, on a ledge, just playing video games. And Hinta runs up and he's like, "Hey, I see that you're in a school uniform. Where are you with? Where are you from?" And he's stupid. You know what I mean? He doesn't even
typical.
Understand.
Yeah.
Honestly, if anything, I feel like that was my only gripe about the storytelling. It felt so much like the snail in Bakumanatari. Yeah. It felt like a you watch Moon Knight. It felt like one of those instances, he didn't know where he was, kind of thing.
Oh, you're right, Moon Knight.
No, I have it.
Okay, you do have it. Okay.
Back to the NerdDown on that one, but yeah, it reminded me of something it felt so unnatural. It felt like something fantastical was gonna happen.
It did, because
and it didn't.
The idea behind most of their matches is that Hinata and sometimes Kageyama get a personal attachment to the best player on the opposing team that they're going to play. Mm. That happens even later on when they're playing the best player, the best ace in the prefecture. They get a pre-introduction to him as an additional piece of motivation to shut him down. You know what I mean? So this is where it starts. Hinata accidentally on a jog running into Kozumi, and Kozumi being like, "Oh,
it's part of the cat team."
Yeah, I play for Nekama, but I kind of don't give a shit. I'm super lackadaisical. It's almost like an accident that I play.
It almost felt like he was a ghost for some reason.
But the thing about Kozumi,
I think he was underselling himself a lot.
It's because Kozumi doesn't love volleyball, but he's a setter. So, he's the smartest person on the team. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how it plays out, once the game actually starts.
He's the brain. Is the fucking, what is his name? The nerdy guy from the one nerdy show and the sitcom? The Nerds?
That's a lot of fucking...
Yeah, that was a lot.
Are you talking about Big Bang Theory?
Yes, that one...
Oh, Sheldon.
Yeah, Sheldon treatment. Kind of thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like it, but it's this is how I'm smart.
This is how I'm smart."
And he meets him, and then his team. I was more intrigued about how he was able to outrun his entire team before they caught up to him, and then found them.
I feel like that's recanonizing something they already described. Hinata is just this body of energy that no one else on the team can even come close to.
He moves across the court like nothing.
I love that.
Butter.
And you start seeing it in the Nekama game. The Nekama set, the Nekama defenders on one side of the net will be like, "We got you, we're defending you."
The imagery of the hands going over it.
Right, there's three defenders just reaching their hands over the net, being like, "You got to spike over this." And Hinata just runs to the opposite side of the net in half a second and just spikes it over where nobody is. That's amazing.
Hot. It's hot.
Because talking about once we really get into the Nekama game, it's crazy because we really have a team together. As opposed to the Alba Josai game, because Alba Josai didn't have their best player, didn't have their actual setter,
but we didn't have the libero or
right. So once you get into the Nekama game, we actually have our libero, we have Nishinoya, we finally have our ace setter, which is Asahi.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is Takema being like, yo, I just got a call from fucking Nekoma. They're like, what the fuck?
I called him 200 times.
Did you suck his dick? What the fuck did you do?
Right, because even like right before the game happens, like Takeda is talking to the Nishinoya head coach, and she's just like, yeah, you called me 200 times. At a certain point, I feel like
I'm obligated to play.
He said, you even threatened me to come in personally. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna answer this dude.
No, but that's dedication. That's the coach that you need in your corner, man.
But then the Nekoma coach was like, man, like, I miss that rival. And it feels like that Vegeta Goku thing. Right. It feels like that the only reason I even like thought about calling you back is because what if you are really good?
That's literally the plot to like season 2 Majin Vegeta.
Yeah.
Where like Majin Vegeta blows up half like the world tournament crowd, and it's just like, Goku, like, please just fight me on level ground. That's all I want. That's all I need. Is for you to fight me on level ground. And Goku's just like, well, you just killed half the people.
He's like, well, I guess I have no choice.
And again, to like the whole trash can match, the whole dumpster match, the whole...
Because it's crows versus cats.
Yeah.
That's the metaphor.
And the way they animated it, they animated it on an alley where people collect their trash, and there's just cats and crows fighting over the meal they're going to have that day. And it's so good. So good.
Because I think Nekoma wins the match, right?
They do.
They win.
But they do after the second set, after like 10 deuces.
Yeah.
Because if you are supposed to win at your match point of 25, if you are both tied, then that becomes a deuce. So
I think they win
whoever wants to win has to score 2 more points than the other.
Oh yeah, it's always deuce. Yeah, you always have to win by 2.
They won in 2 sets,
but I think they played
the second one was straight deuce.
I think they played 6 sets, did they not?
They played like
won every single one.
They played like 10 deuces.
Yeah. And Nekoma won every time.
What CJ's talking about is like after Karasuno lost those 10 deuces, they kept doing another match. Yeah. Because like they're kind of super evenly matched, and they realize that they're never gonna play each other again, like in official tournament.
Like, so might as well make the most of what you have right now.
Right, and like it.
It's amazing.
It's crazy because you really see the development.
Hinata's like another fucking game.
Right, of Hinata and Kageyama, because like after like the first set where they're able to catch them a couple times on like the no look quick attack, like they adjust to it quickly. They're like, watch number 10, wherever the fuck he is, we need 2 defenders on him.
Keep the ball in play.
And once they're able to defend that, that's when Asahi, the real ace of the team, is able to be like, okay, cool, everyone's on my decoy, like now I can set this up. Which is where Kageyama, being like an ace setter, being this badass like super smart setter, comes into play, being like, okay, they're all on Hinata, which means like we sent to Asahi, blah 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 blah.
Then,
but like,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And unlike K-On, when you get a light on the fact that the third years or the last years are gonna leave, like here is very prominent at the beginning. Even through this match, it's like, wow, like our first years are so crazy good. It's like
it hurts my feelings because the third year setter is a super nice guy. Like Sugawada's like the nicest.
Benched. That was one of the decisions.
He got benched. Like Sugawada's like the nicest fucking dude.
Okay,
one of the episodes was like the decision. Okay, which was who to put on the bench.
I don't know exactly how he feels. Okay, but I don't know if you guys played team sports like in high school or whatever. But when I was like a freshman,
he's a gentleman for taking that.
No, okay, exactly. But when I was a freshman, I played varsity, right? So,
as a freshman, you
did? Yeah. So excuse me, sorry. So when I took over this one guy's starting spot, so I understand, like, in Sugawada's point of view, it's like, damn, man, this freshman but came in.
It wasn't even his train of thought. His train of thought was like, I know I'm supposed to be in the bench.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I acknowledge that this guy is clearly better than me. So I know I know how Sugawara like feels. It's like, yo, that's...
Well, it's because this is after the couple episodes where we had the issue with Asahi and Nishinoya wanted to rejoin the team, right? Because their thing is, we got our fucking asses handed to us by Date Tech. So, like, in Sugawara being like, dog, these are my best friends, these are my friends through high school, like, they were super upset after us getting our asses washed by Date Tech. Who is going to make us least likely to get washed by Date Tech? It's fucking Kageyama
and Hinata.
And Hinata. So, like, I have to step back to be like, I need to give my team the best chance possible to not get fucking washed.
I'm not going to lie, man, that takes a lot to... For example, like, in any situational, like any situation in sports, if you can clearly acknowledge that, like, someone else is better for this position or at this point in time, that takes a lot out of a player to, like, acknowledge that.
Especially in high school. That's a huge
dude, because it's just like, bro.
Oh, I need to play.
Because, like, most players in high school are like, I want to be this. I want to be Kobe Bryant. I want to be the fucking star. But it's like, if you can acknowledge that, like, no, this guy's clearly better for the position or for the situation that we're in right now, he needs to be in there. Bro, that takes, like how you said, that takes a lot of maturity.
This becomes a quick sub-theme in, like, the latter half of season 2 about, like, where the senior players, like, have the choice to be like, dog, just drop out of volleyball club and, like, prepare for final exams so that you
it's in the first season.
Yeah, in the first... Well, I'm talking about the second half of first season. I'm sorry. Where they
second half of the first season.
Second half of the first season, where they get the seniors get the chance to be like, dog, drop out of volleyball club, prepare for final exams, get into a good fucking college because you're not going to get a fucking volleyball scholarship. And like the third years, 100% of them are like, dog,
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
This is our team. This is our year. Like, I'm fucking riding with this
bro,
shit.
Y'all don't understand. We have Hinata and Kageyama this year, bro. Y'all don't know.
And I love that.
I love it too. I love it too, man.
And then some water was like, you're right. I don't want to go anywhere. I love this shit.
You mean I'm a drop? Even though I'm not a starter?
He's like, bro, I ain't giving up, bro. He's like, fuck no. That's what I love about this team is that they're all ride or die, man. They're all ride or die.
So, and like the thing, I want to talk about the Nekama team again really quickly.
No, we have to.
What's his face? Kozumi is like what CJ was describing. He's the least motivated player on their team, which is like the opposite of what a setter should be. Compared to Oikawa on the Albajoy side, like Oikawa is clearly the best player on their team. And like Kageyama on our team, he's the best natural volleyball player on our team. Like the thing about Kozumi is that it's not that he's lazy, it's just that like his like volleyball IQ is almost like above what it should be. Because he gets so bored playing volleyball that like he refuses to make the sets that people should make. Because, like, if Kageyama's thing is that, like, nah, I recognize that this is the best set for this situation, Kozumi almost is too adaptive to his players to the point that he doesn't push them for where they should be hitting.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. And one thing I like about Kozumi is that, you know how they show him playing, like, the whole video game and stuff like that? We're all gamers. We're all nerds. And what I like about him is that he, like, instinctively studies. Like he studied the shit out of Hinata in their
first meeting.
Yeah, in their first encounter, he was like studying him. So he's picking up, like he's nitpicking what he does, and he was able to.
He was the only person on the Nekama team that was not surprised by the quick attack.
Exactly, yeah.
Because he was like, dog, I saw Hinata that day. He was already jogging. He was full of energy. He was super spry. He clearly could jump high. Like, even me just studying him right there, like, I was not surprised that he did that shit.
No, yeah, he was like, I didn't know they could do this, but he's like, I didn't take me back. Like,
my favorite part about Kozumi is that they didn't emphasize on him like in Code Geass they did it in the protagonist. Like he was making this 3D fucking chess moves in his head, but like the anime was just putting it on the side. Like it wasn't like, oh, look what this guy is thinking.
I think that's hilarious because like Code Geass is famously one of the most like highbrow, like critical thinking, like multi-dimensional chess kind of anime.
It's just confusing.
But like for you, it's such like a like you're taking the like it's a correct point. Like like Kozumi being like, I'm not gonna take the big brain solution. I'm gonna take the most simple solution, which is There's a term for that where the most simple solution is normally the correct one. It's called Occam's razor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where like you could have a problem with a plethora of solutions. The most simple solution is normally the correct one.
Honestly, that's literally the direction.
The direction of Occam's razor. That's how Kozume takes it, which is just like a million things could happen right now.
Simple but
I'm gonna set up my players to make the most simple point possible. And it's the correct decision because we lose to Nekoma correctly.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to lose to Nekoma.
No, yeah, definitely.
And not only do we have Kazume in the Cats teams, in the Nekoma team, but we also have Shibayama, which is a former teammate of our king of the court, Kageyama. And Kageyama is having this weird trip out because every time in every game that he played along his former teammate Shibayama didn't care. Shibayama was a efficient strategist, which means like he's not gonna do anything out of the range of being efficient. So if he can perform his most efficient move, he's not going to do anything else.
Right.
And when they're playing this game, Shibayama is not doing that at all.
It's like the pretext to a game they have when they play Alba Josai in the intramural like championship, because Alba Josai has a similar player where he never gives his 100%, but that's in their benefit because when everyone else is tired, they have one guy that can still perform.
Has it in the reserves, yeah. Which I think is like, I mean, I get it, but I think that's like, okay, if he was that good, why wouldn't you want to go balls to the wall from the start and push that lead up? I mean, I get it. I get the game plan, but I just don't agree with it.
No, I agree. And I think that's kind of the point. Like, it leaves it up to the audience to be like, what's the correct decision?
What's the correct way to go? Yeah.
Like, do you go like 100%
balls
early?
Out?
Or do you wait for it? Wait for them to patter out, and then like you still have one guy that can perform. So essentially, Nekoma won because of Kazuma. Because Kazuma's quick thinking and his way to analyze the court is kind of beyond what everybody on the Karasuno team besides Kageyama can accomplish. Mm-hmm. Like, them having a player who can function as a second coach, which is kind of how setters are treated from here on out, including like the rematch with Alba Josai, is that like the setters are basically a second coach. Like if you have a setter so good, you almost don't even need coaching like expertise to weigh in on timeouts.
And that conversation and that dialogue came up after beating that team. It's like, did you notice those timeouts? It's like the coaches weren't even involved.
Yeah.
Like, it was just teammates talking to each other and being like, what is the best way we can go about this?
Which is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's clear
absolutely.
that, like, even the Nekoma team is like, no, I want to produce a standard, a well-rounded team that's good outside of me. Mm-hmm. Which is why it's so significant that the Nekoma team is treated as like a new rival team at this point, which is literally the title of episode 13, Rival.
It basically reignited the whole dumpster showdown whole fucking aspect, because nobody really considered Karasuno like anymore as a threat anymore ever since they were like the wingless crows. So it's just like, no, but now that the fact that Nekoma was like, yo, these guys are actually pretty fucking good.
And again, like the way that this game was set up was because of our slash coach slash manager
Takeda
character. Yeah, Takeda. Which means, again, it was one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. He was a sub character that brings a lot to the table.
No one's a bigger fan of the Karasuno volleyball team than Takeda.
Yeah.
and the conversations between the coach and again, once the team loses and once they do all those extra scrimmage games, the conversation was, hey, hopefully you guys make it
hopefully we see you in the intramurals. Hopefully we see you guys in the tournament. Like it's essentially like the March Madness NCAA tournament.
Which I'm not
hopefully we get to see you guys in
I'm not gonna lie, I think that gives, not only does it give them like
motivation,
well, I think that's like the main point of what I was trying to say, is like it gives them mad motivation, because they're just like, damn, these guys really want to see us.
They rock their shit.
It's like, yo, and but not only did they beat us, but they want to see us in the tournament because they see potential in us. So it's like we need to live up to what they're expecting us.
And not only motivation to the characters that we're watching, but motivation to the audience that it's watching.
Yeah,
like it gives you a sense of like, I want to see them play again.
Yeah, like, oh man, I want to see them at their peaks. Yeah, because
it's not even at this point that we get like elongated matches and sets amongst teams. This is, this is like a game being shortened by the narrative. But once we get to the latest episodes, it's like technicality after technicality after technicality, and you get to those points that's like, wait, the ball is still in the air after like 5 minutes. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Once you get to the end of season 1, like the last 6 episodes of season 1 are literally like one volleyball game.
Yeah, like one rally.
And it's crazy because like from here on out we go to the inter-high tournament. Right, so this
leads to the fall or spring tournament.
This tournament is the winter tournament,
correct?
And so this one leads exactly to the spring tournament.
So you have to qualify for the spring tournament,
exactly.
Almost. Yeah, and then from the spring tournament you can qualify for nationals, and then you can qualify for.
Correct. But I think for this winter tournament, it's 16 teams, only one of them gets to advance to nationals.
Correct. So you have to do well inside of your prefecture.
Yeah, it's one game elimination, right?
It's one game elimination. So, like, the episode 15 starts, and like it's literally like about them dominating this nobody team like Tokonami or something like that. And the thing about Tokonami is like they're like, oh, Karasuno was good 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. They've nobody good right now. Like I haven't heard anything about them. And then they completely washed Tokonami.
Yeah, they completely dominate.
Like this is where they start gaining a crowd within the inter-high tournament. That's like, holy shit, are you seeing this quick attack in Karasuno? Like that's insane.
I think this game served an equivalent purpose to, like, for example, if you were on varsity. Like, if you're on varsity in any team sports, you always play against the freshman team before, like, any season starts in order to boost your morale. Like, oh, yeah, we just fucking dominate. I mean, I know it's the freshman team, but it's in order to boost, like, yo, we just, like, steamrolled this first team, which I think was a good, like, play setter to showcase not only to the audience, like, how advanced, like, or how much we've advanced from when we first started, because we were able to, like, just wash this first team. What'd you say it was? Tokonami. Yeah, so it was like, and we washed these guys like nothing.
And this game is pretty much just audience exposition. And the way it works really good is that Haikyuu uses the audience as audience members for our viewing audience. So the audience will be like, oh my god, they are on the second set and it's deuces, or that's a chance ball, or that's this, that's that.
So the community inter-high like team that was hosted by
works as audience exposition.
Coach Yukai, like now they have emotional investment in the Karasuno team, so they show up to all the games, right? So what Aldo's talking about, like they'll be. It's the local community team that's like, oh my god, that's a chance ball. Are they gonna set it up so that whoever can like spike this properly, or are they gonna try to do a juke? Like,
and our first game of this winter tournament, it is against a team that we as an audience have already been led to believe that they're not really good. So this is the way the anime is trying to show you how good and yet mediocre our team is.
Yeah.
And like that's a cool juxtaposition because they try to like treat it like
arc.
Right, but like when the opposing team is talking about Karasuno, they're like, yeah, they're nobodies. We're totally gonna wash them. We're finally gonna have a win, like in our volleyball schedule. This and that.
And this is Hinata's first game.
Yes,
game. And
this is his first official tournament game.
This fool wants to get his palms sweaty, dog. and I love how they bring that up. Like he's like, I love that feeling of like my hand hurting from like spiking a ball into the.
Oh yeah,
and that's part of like the treatment with Asahi, because Asahi is kind of like emasculated over how Datek previously treated them, like where he could not
shut him out.
All.
Yeah, he
completely shut him out. And like when you hear when you hear our decoy talking about it, when you hear Hinata talking about it, like he's just like, the only thing I want out of playing these games is to look over the defenders and see the open field, to see the open line.
I don't
want
just
to be able to hit over them. Like, I don't even care about the wall. I want to be able to hit beyond the wall. And it's Asahi getting like this trigger in his memory, being like, yeah, that was why I did this. This is why, like, I want to be the ace so that I can hit over the wall. Because, like, for like half a second in this episode, like, they almost want to treat it like Karasuno's maybe gonna lose to this nobody team.
Well, because of what's his name? Aone, the blonde, the white haired guy from Datek. He was basically shutting him out. He was their best blocker. I mean, I'm
not even talking about the Datek yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm still talking about the game before that.
Oh yeah.
I'm still talking about Tokonami, where like the Tokonami game is a resurgence in the team's morale because that lets Asahi be able to see beyond the blockers. That lets him remember what it meant to be the spiker. So they beat Tokonami, and like to CJ's point, immediately next they play Datek, and Datek is the team that completely emasculated Asahi. And like almost made the libero Nishinoya quit the game as well, because they completely shut them out. Like we're talking about how the hardest part of volleyball, at least from the anime perspective, is probably defense.
I think Nishinoya only wanted to quit because he saw that Asahi was just like, yo, he just gave up. He's like, dude, what's the point in that? I wish I agreed. Yeah, that's like
this is where the game with Datek begins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if we're talking about Datek's most famous aspect is their iron wall, is their defense.
That's their banner.
That's their banner. Like what we've been talking about is probably, as far as the anime is concerned, the hardest part like we've seen is the defense. So to actually play a defense-minded team is like insane.
Yeah.
Especially for our team, where our biggest asset is just this blinded, no-look quick attack.
Which they've been working on a visual Hinata.
Right. They practice in that initial game.
Correct.
So the thing about Datek is they have like this half Norwegian player, like CJ was trying to describe.
Aone.
Again, dude, like character design.
He's like,
if you're making somebody that is like an antagonist, like I honestly I'm thinking of Samurai Champloo. I'm thinking of Bleach, of how well they designed their almost antagonist characters.
Yeah.
It is so good to see because, man, they look so badass being in the opponent's, like in the opponent's team.
Yeah.
They seem so intimidating.
You'll see later on, like no spoilers or nothing, but Aone, like,
because he doesn't even have eyebrows.
He's not so much of an antagonist, but he's more of like
he's an antagonist to our volleyball story.
Well, yeah. But he's more of like somebody that you'll see later on. He really motivates our main character Hinata. Like he just kind of pushes. Like they're basically like they acknowledge that they're really good, and they just push each other to like, yo, we got to keep being better.
And the way the narrative pinpoints the strengths and weaknesses technically into a volleyball narrative is so good, because what we see from Hinata and our king of the court, Kageyama, the thing of them is having this quick setup, a quick serve, or what is it? Quick
attack.
Yeah, quick attack to their matches. But now we encounter,
we finally have a defense that can block the quick attack.
Exactly. So now their whole thing has to shift. Their whole tactics have to shift, and this is not something that comes up anew. Like this is something that it's been on like that inner dialogue of our coach Yukai. Yukai is like, man, is like they don't know how to play as a team. They know tactics, they know the mechanics, they know the technicality of it, but they're not playing as a team.
Because I think they lose match one. Right?
Correct.
I believe set one.
They lose the first set.
Yeah, they lose set one. Yeah.
And like the reason is that they're like relying too much on
the quick attack. Yeah.
So and like date tech after like one or two like scores on them after
the
quick, they're just like okay, follow number 10, and like they
basically I think it was what it's called is like when you follow a specific player. I think they called it a mark. You mark that person,
right?
So now you're
it reminds me of, again, talking about like different sports metaphors. It reminds me of American football a little bit, where you go from like zone defense to like
basically man
on man defense. And that's a basketball concept too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and that's how it goes, because like if date tech is just really like this hyper intensive zone defense, for them to be able like on a dime be like like we're marking people, we're going man to man, like that's crazy.
And one of the main things is that the wall wouldn't act until the set was set up. You know, until the setup was set up, so they didn't fall for that quick attack from
because you can jump too soon.
I think
like fall for the quick attack.
I think that's such a testament to nowadays, because like how Aldo was saying, you have to like visually see when that shit's coming and then react to that. Yeah. Like, dude, to be able to get there in time.
And then a bigger testament of like the involvement to volleyball or to this narrative is that they bring it back to Hinata's a goal of being the tiny giant, that they talk about who the tiny giant was before. He's like, not only was he quick and was able to jump high,
he could break a block.
But whenever he came across an iron wall, not only was he able to, I think the dialogue is like waterfall block, where they, even though they touch it, it falls down their arm, so it's still
the waterfall, so it falls against the net.
And not only that, but like to fake a spike and just like lightly tap it, you know, and it just becomes this great digestible fucking narrative,
which is good because it gives
it's
more.
Absolutely good.
It gives more in the arsenal of Hinata, because it's like now he has more to work with,
and
like,
he has more to learn. Yeah, and it just becomes like this. Gomi fucking what is it? The Gomi no Mi. Like it just becomes like this. Like how far can you take like volleyball skills
with your imagination?
You know, with the right imagination.
Man, it's something we haven't talked about this Haikyuu tournament either is that like they've kind of given pretext to like the other teams in the tournament. They already told us beforehand that we were probably going to play date tech if we beat round 1, and that like within our prefecture is also Alba Josai, but also the pre like since they won the last Inter-High tournament, Shiratorizawa Academy is like the end all be all like team in the prefecture in the Inter-High tournament, because not only do they have the best player period, who's their spiker, Ushijima, but he completely washed Alba Josai last time.
Yeah, I believe. I think they say it in the anime too. Is that in the last tournament, the team that they beat in order to win the championships, Shiratorizawa beat them like, what was it, like 25-6 or something like that. Like to me, that only makes me think in my mind the other team only scored whenever Shiratorizawa made a mistake, because you know you get rewarded for the point for like another mistake. So they only scored whenever the other team fucked up, which is like, god damn, dude.
I hate to be this corny, but like a lot of when I was watching this past week reminded me of Yu-Gi-Oh, because like I don't have a lot of like high school sports analogies, perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I didn't play like any high school sports really. I just did like cross country in like middle school and freshman year, you know what I mean? So like a lot of the examples like what you're talking about, where it's like you're just only feeding off people's mistakes. Anytime I've ever won even a locals tournament at TCG Battleground and have won like prizing that's up to like $300 or so, and so like if you were to ask me afterwards, it feels like I didn't even deserve it. It just feels like I misplayed less to my opponent.
Yeah.
Like it, like literally, if I go,
I made less mistakes. If
I go 8 rounds, it doesn't even feel like I was playing a better deck. It doesn't feel like I was playing better, like I was playing smarter. It just really feels like I made less mistakes. Yeah. Less mistakes than my opponent.
And that was the lesson they learned with Nekomura. Yeah, because the coach, the only advice that the coach tells the team is like, just keep the ball in play, which means don't let the ball touch the floor. Which means if you let the ball touch the floor, it's your opponent's team. So it just becomes this like, holy fuck, like don't do better, just do good kind of thing.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, man, good point. That's actually a really good point.
And from here, we're still in the game with data tech.
Yeah.
So and the thing about date tech is like they really do have like this half European player who's their like center guard.
He's like half German, right?
Something like half German, something like that. Who's like this fucking giant. And like they keep marking like their aces, and the reason they're able to win is because they start switching up their offense.
Mr. Aone.
What's his name? Asahi. Asahi is the reason why they basically win. Because not only was he the ace, and Date Tech was the reason why. I mean, they obviously shut him down in the season
because
before.
Date Tech got so like tunneled in on the Hinata Kageyama like quick attack,
which emphasizes what they were talking about. One of my favorite scenes is when Nishinoya tells Hinata, is like, not only are you a decoy, but like don't think light of that. That shit's actually very important.
It's Kageyama that tells him that.
Is it really? Oh,
I think it is because like sure? Hinata's upset about being deemed the decoy because his goal is to be the main ace for the team.
Oh, okay, no. Okay, we're both right. Because, Kageyama does tell him that. Nishinoya has, like, a minor, like, little speech where he's like, don't think light of being a decoy, because decoy is just as important as my position. Even the libero, he's like, you're just as important as me, because now everybody, like how it ties into this game, everybody's now focused on you, and now it gives chance to the real ace, Asahi, to start shining and pulling through.
And the thing about Nishinoya that we haven't described either is part of his training while in suspension is he was exclusively practicing
Nishinoya?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
He was
right.
exclusively practicing blocked spikes.
Dude,
because that was why Asahi and him lost against Date Tech before. Because Nishinoya, even though being the main defender, couldn't get any blocked hits. So, like, Asahi would go for a spike, it would get blocked, it'd go down to the ground, and nobody was able to recover it. Which, like, that's my main thing, even watching basketball. When me and CJ and Aldo were watching Texas Tech v Duke in top 32 of the NCAA tournament, my main thing that I was bitching about with Tech was, like, no offensive rebounds. That shit irks the shit out of me, bro. Like, you're clearly playing a defensive-minded game, and, like, nobody's making shit. This is the least, like, one of the lowest scoring games you've played all fucking year, and nobody's going for an offensive rebound. That makes no fucking sense, because you realize that they're playing, like, outstanding defense right now. So, like, not going for an offensive rebound makes zero fucking sense. So for Nishinoya to highlight that and be like, dog, my main offensive weapon is getting blocked. Like, the best defense against that is recovering those blocks.
Man, that's such a Mamba mentality.
Yes, bro.
I love the fact that he's
Nishinoya's
only
Mamba,
focused.
dog.
Dude, exactly. That's one thing I love about Nishinoya's character is not only is he one of the possibly one of, or I mean, he's shorter than Hinata, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's small. He's the smallest person on the court, but he's got
with his hair spiked up, he's taller than Hinata.
Yeah. But normally he's the smallest character in the court, but this guy has like one of the most important roles, and this guy is possibly like the backbone of the team. Yeah. Like, I love Nishinoya's fucking character, man.
My favorite character of the whole thing, because At the end of every episode, as far as like the second half of the season 1, it's almost like, oh shit, is Nishinoya gonna get it or not? And it's just like this scene of like the ball coming into the ground. And it's like, is he gonna get it or not? Is he gonna get it or not? And sometimes you see him come in with a fucking arm or like with a fucking foot or something. It's just fucking awesome how this whole thing plays out. And
I believe we end up.
Well, they beat
Date Tech, right? Yeah.
But like in 3, in the best of 3, they go to the full 3.
I think they have one of like the best ace moments for Asahi is when the fucking wall like opens up, because this guy finally accepts, no matter how many times he got blocked, because he got blocked a fuckload of times during this game, but no matter how many times he got blocked, he's like, no, fuck that. I'm the ace. I'm a buster. Also,
it's because Sugawara comes in at a certain point. So the thing about Kageyama is he's such an efficient setter. He's always going to set it up to his best player at the best moment, yada, yada, yada. and that doesn't lead to good fakes. So when they put in their third year setter, Sugawara, who's like a less good technical player.
Is that this game or is that Alba Josai? I think that's in. I think that's
is in the Alba Josai one. Okay. Well, anyways, like a big reason that they win right now is like what CJ's talking about. They switch up their offense. So like and I think that's a cool thing about Haikyuu, especially in like maybe the first 3 seasons before they actually learn how to play defense. it is that like. The only way they ever win is by switching up their offense because their only weapon's their offense. Like besides Nishinoya, like nobody can play defense besides maybe Daichi.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Yeah, that's actually very true.
But even though that's true, I like the little training montages that even Tsukishima has as far as being able to receive. You know, and all these other characters, because they become good at receiving as well, but not as good as the offensive line.
So you're right. Like in the first 2 days of the Inter-High tournament, they run these first 2 tournaments. They beat Daytech, and then they have like a day's rest.
And that's when they watch Alba Josai play.
They watch Alba Josai play, and then like immediately after watching Alba Josai play on TV, you see Hinata and Kageyama being like, "Let's go to the court. Let's practice blocking. Let's practice receiving. Let's go." Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't got to practice the quick attack. We got to practice our fucking receiving. Because the main weapon for Alba Josai is Oikawa. And Oikawa's main weapon is that he's this badass fucking, like, server. So, it like, they see that happen. They do that. We go to the next round. The last like 6 episodes of season 1 are just the Alba Josai game, which is crazy. I love that so much because it keeps you as an audience member.
It's so
involved.
It's so good, dude.
I don't want to like spoil nothing, but what I like about it is that, like, for example, in season 3, the entire 10 episodes is just one game. You know what I mean? So I love that the fact they expand shit like that.
And the structure, we've talked about this before of how well Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament, did it. And this feels like that. It feels like, oh shit, I'm watching the gritty and nitty of it. And one of the spiciest moments for me was when, I don't know if I'm jumping up too much ahead, but when they're in the deuces here, right? Because they end up in deuces in this game, is when Oikawa serves the ball and our badass best boy fucking Nishinoya, he fucking ignores the fact because he knows it's gonna be out of bounds.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I get you. Yeah,
that was so good.
That's a good read, man. That's a good read. That, I'm telling you, man, Nishinoya is one of the best defenders overall in this whole series.
And we go 3 episodes of them being in deuces.
Yeah, just in deuces, not just even like deuces, the rest of the game. Because the thing about the Alba Josai game is that, like, at first it's clearly setter versus setter. Like, that's how it wants to portray. It's like if Kageyama is the Great King. And then Nishinoya, no, not Nishinoya.
Oikawa.
Oikawa is his senpai, the one that trained him to be a badass setter. It's them 2 versus each other. So initially, you see Oikawa doing setter dumps. So anytime, like, it seems like, oh, he's gonna set up this badass fucking set that's gonna go to the outer edges, he'll just dump it over the side, and there's no defender there.
That's so clutch.
That must hurt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, as a defender, it's just like, motherfucker. Like, I was playing for this badass play, and you just, like, tapped it over.
You just dumped it in,
And as an audience, it pisses you off, too, because the way they animate it, he's like...
Dude, they get you so high with the build-up, and then it's just... I'm going to dump it in.
And then he just goes like this. I was like... Oh,
which I think that's the point of the way they animate it. It's to build you up, and you're just like, oh, here it comes, and then it's the quick dump, and you're like,
it's
what?
absolutely a directed decision.
And Alba Josai starts setting a specific player against Hinata. Like, as opposed to Date Tech, where their whole defense was around whoever they thought the offensive player on that play was. Like, they set one specific player.
And they mark him,
on Hinata. And that, like, kind of shuts him down for, like, the first fucking set and most of the second set. It is because, like, and also they're trying to learn in game. Because, like, after the Date Tech set, Hinata and Kageyama tried doing the Hinata open-eyed, like, quick attack.
And that's when they also, I believe, Kageyama changes his serves, more or less, to, instead of being straight pinpoint to where you're at. I'm gonna
wants to keep Hinata.
Yeah, he's like, I want to keep you up there as long as I can. So I'm gonna start floating.
So especially in set 1, they were fucking up a lot because they were not hitting together. Because like for Hinata, so going into the Alba Josai game, like they lose round 1. You know what I mean? They like if it's a best of 3 match, they do lose set 1. Thank you. And it's because like Alba Josai with Oikawa is able to quickly adjust to their quick play, to their quick screen. And like the thing about game 2 is that's where like it really starts feeling like a team sport, because this is where the coach what's his
Ukai from
Ukai. Yeah. He realizes that they need to switch up their offense. So like he benches Kageyama, puts in the 3rd-year setter Sugawara. Thank you. And like Sugawara is, although not like technically a better player than Kageyama, he understands the 3rd year's better because
he's got more experience.
Yeah, he's got more experience. So like it's one of those arguments that you even see the coach having, where it's like, what's more valuable, the more naturally like progressive player, or the person that actually has experience with people on the court?
I think there's a good quote, well, not a quote, but a good line that the coach says. He's just like, yo, sit back and watch your senpai play, and you'll understand exactly why he's where he's at.
Watch was one of those best
And
things.
I think this scene is one of my favorite scenes of all time in the first season for Haikyuu, because it humbles the fuck out of Kageyama. Because not only, you're gifted and you're naturally talented, but experience goes and hard work goes a long fucking way, dude. And Sugawara like emphasized that, because not only does he come into the game and he starts popping off, but he's the reason why they basically stay in the game.
The first piece of dialogue they have is his relationship with the players, because like if you're the setter, you need to know where all your spikers are, like mentally. You know what I mean? You're like, what is Asahi thinking right now? What is Hinata thinking right now?
What is Tanaka
thinking? What is Tanaka thinking? So he starts talking to everybody, like, yo, Tanaka, where you at? Were you good? Like, Asahi, what's that? Were you good? Like, where are you trying to set at? Like, Hidata, like what are you thinking right now? Let me know where you're at. And that's something Kageyama never had, because if he's the king of the court, like he's always looking for the most ideal set, the most ideal situation. He's not trying to fit like his sets around like people's personal situations.
And then correct me if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't correct me if I'm not wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. But Kageyama, right?
Kageyama
sees this former teammate of his, Konami, the one that didn't care, and I was talking about him in the beginning.
Onion head,
yeah, and that he never did above his efficiency. He never did anything past what he needed to do,
which is the exact opposite of Hinata.
Correct.
Exactly.
And now he's seeing this version of his former teammate, and now he's thrown in a loop. He's like, "Fuck! How am I supposed to play with somebody that I thought I knew?"
Yeah, he was like, he never went for the extra save. He never went the.
He was never like a team player.
He never jumped the extra inch for the serve. Like he never did all that.
He never went the extra mile. Exactly.
Correct.
So, and that's what kind of like starts, like Kageyama starts tunneling. You know what I mean? Like bad. Like he's just like, fuck, what's gonna turn them up right now? Force a set to Hinata. But like you already have all their defenders on Hinata. You're not gonna send it to Hinata. Yeah. And that's what gets Kageyama like benched. Being like, dog, like you are not thinking. You're clearly the smartest thinker we have. But you're not thinking, because you're so fucking pressed right now.
It's such a humbling moment, because, like, I mean, I know you didn't play sports before, but, like, being benched, like, for example, like, playing in a game and you're just, like, missing all your shots, or you're not doing good, you're not playing at what everybody knows you can play at, and the coach benches you. Not only is it, like, fuck, that fucking sucks, but at the same time, you're like, you have to like just swallow it and accept it. Like, yo, maybe this guy can do something, and they showcase it. I love the fact that they showcase how good Sugawara is.
The narrative, it's always like you're learning something from them.
Yeah, you have to learn bro. You have to learn something from your elders.
Because they win the second set because of that switch.
Because
Sugawara like is that empath. Like the joke me and Aldo have been making for the past month and a half. Like because he's that level of empath, like he knows like how to set how people need it right then. And like they win set 2 because of that. And like again, like I hate to be this fucking nerd that keeps referencing this shit to Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's how this shit feels. Because like what I was describing to you guys earlier is that like I went to my first regional since before COVID, since like 2.5 years ago, in Lubbock, Texas, on this past Saturday, and I was like, I didn't place as high as I thought I would, and I didn't get my nationals invite like I thought I would, and that's partially because
I'm still proud of you.
I'm still proud of you.
Thanks, friend. But I honestly think it's partially because I didn't take it seriously enough, or I started tunneling too much. So if I'm so hyper focused on this one game plan that is not going to win me this game
plan.
Yeah, on my own game plan, as opposed to like what my opponent is doing. That's what sucks because like I completely threw away a plan that worked around my opponent's plan, and I funneled in on my own plan. Then I completely cucked myself. I went from 3-4 points of interaction to 1. It like that's not going to stop their end game to beat me at the end of the day. And
you're better than that.
And I'm better than that. I am better than that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So referencing that back to Haikyuu, like that's what turns Kageyama back up because like they win set 2 with Sugawara as the setter, and he's just like, dog, that should be me.
That should have been me.
That should have been me. What the fuck? Like, I could do that.
He's like, what? If he can do it, I can do that. Which I love the fact that they emphasize that.
Oh, and part of the Alba Josei game plan is that they figure out right away the verbal communication between Hinata and Kageyama.
Oh, when they set up for a quick, because it says a specific word, right? He says
right.
Like,
it's like get me the ball,
or
like I'm coming for the ball.
Yeah.
Which like get means like a softer serve as opposed to like
I'm coming for it means like I'm gonna spike that shit.
Right,
yeah.
right. So and that's part of the
I forgot about that.
They figure that it is Oikawa that figures that out because of
the film, isn't it not? Isn't it
because
Oikawa
it's because of
watches
the film? Because like what we were talking about a little earlier, Oikawa more than anybody else we've seen so far is basically like an NFL coach about this shit. Like he's watching film. He's Tom Brady about this. You know what I mean?
Kobe Bryant about that.
Yeah. Like Tom Brady has like famously been quoted being like, if it wasn't for my family and all this other stuff, I could watch film all day.
I'm not gonna lie,
if you
man.
Let me.
Watching film does help a lot. Like it's so crazy because back then at the time when I was like younger, like watching film, I was like, bro, I don't want to watch this shit. I don't give a fuck. But being older, it's like, no. That shit plays a huge role because not only do you pick up how Oikawa did, he picks up on their tendencies and their habits and like how their plays roll out.
Did you guys ever watch the Moneyball with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Jonah Hill? Great fucking movie.
Yeah,
it's just all about the analytics of baseball.
Statistics.
Yeah, the statistics of baseball and how like that's what makes baseball kind of like annoying to watch.
Broken.
Now it's basically like an analytics.
Like, who can spend the most money on most Dominicans?
But like the most efficient players, you know what I mean?
The most efficient Dominicans.
That's what's so annoying.
We
right
love
now.
you, Dominican Republic.
We love y'all.
That's what's so annoying right now because it's literally who are the most efficient players and like Oikawa watching the Karasuno matches, he hears the audibles. Like he knows what the audibles are to the point that like he knows when to call his defensive players to be like guard Hinata, guard somebody else. Like and
it
that's
becomes
what,
OP. It becomes
that's
broken.
what fucks up their game plan, and that's why Kageyama gets benched. Just because their audibles got picked up. Like that's an aspect of volleyball that we didn't even think about.
One thing I like about the fact that he gets benched is Sugawara gets a chance to showcase. I don't know if you remember that scene where he quickly tells Tsukishima like, yo, switch spots with me really quick because I can tell something's about to happen. Switch spots with me. And they switch so subtly, so quick, and then Tsukishima gets the block. And I'm like, bro,
Tsukishima's the 6'2" blonde player.
Dude, yeah. So they're like, bro, it's, oh man, I love the fact that like Oikawa studies and everything, and not only that, but Sugawara, maybe not to that extent, you know what I mean, but they both study, so it's like, bro, you have to trust in your elders, you have to trust in your senpais.
I love that scene with I don't know if it's Sawamura or Asahi, but when they're in the blocking wall and they both have the ball. And like
Daichi and they both block that
and
shit.
they have to like both press on it and see who wins on the block. That shit was crazy.
Oh, the joust?
Yeah,
they're
the
both
joust,
fighting
the
on that
joust.
shit? Yeah, hell yeah.
That first happens with Kageyama and Oikawa.
Yeah.
And like Kageyama
he
keeps losing. Like
that's when he sits his ass. Bro, that I'm not gonna lie, to me, that's equivalent as getting dunked on and then getting your ass sat down. Like that's fucking embarrassing, bro. Yeah, that's fucking embarrassing.
It's delivered so good, guys. Like, honestly, if you're a veteran anime watcher that hasn't watched this, watch it. And if you're a beginner, watch it.
It's
It is such a well-around anime that it's so easy to love.
And this is coming from people who don't have like anything to do with volleyball. I'm pretty sure we've never played or watched or anything
it
like that.
doesn't
So
want
it's like,
you to.
yeah.
If anything, it's directed in a way that like you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
love
you're not
volleyball
supposed to
before
love
watching
volleyball.
this.
I'm pretty sure people that play volleyball and like knew it well, like for example, like your love for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if you were to watch a show and they show you the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh! You would probably be like, man, this is fucking boring. I'm pretty sure that's how like people that know volleyball were watching
honestly,
the first
one
season.
time Aldo came at me being like, should we watch like season 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, fuck
no, that's just boring, bro. Like that's
like,
the basics,
no,
bro.
we're never gonna watch that. We're never gonna watch that.
Like that's the basics, bro. I'm already way past that. So I'm pretty sure people that watch volleyball.
It is part of anime history.
It is part of anime history.
It is.
But like the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that like especially the original series is that it's not even how you play Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, yeah.
So like it'd be like some made up format and all that's gonna come out of it and be like, oh, this is what Drew does all and be like, no, that's not.
You know,
like,
wait, it's like wait a minute, you don't
Where's
trust
your grandpa, Drew?
You don't trust in the heart of the cards, Drew? What?
So Sugawara switching up the offense completely flips the dynamic because also like a big part of why they're competitive in this game is Coach Yukai switching up their defensive formation. So whenever Oikawa is on the serve and he has these crazy ass power serves,
which
he puts like if there's 6 people on the court, he puts their top 4 at the front of the court, and he puts the libero being Nishinoya, and he puts Daichi, the team captain, at the back. The only 2 people in the back.
Which I think is such a smart fucking...
But it's also scary, because it's like, as opposed to having 3 to catch the serve, he only has 2. But the point of having the 2 is that they don't catch up each other, and they don't hit each other, catching that defensive play. So if you only have, like, Nishinoya on the left end, and Daichi on the right end, they can't run into each other. You know what I mean? And they're also calling their play.
Which just puts heavy emphasis on both of them you have a lot more ground to cover. Like
and
you have a lot more area.
And it happens exactly how you're describing it, Drew. And so rapidly we are now at a deuces battle.
Yeah.
You know?
At the end of the second set. Yeah.
Set 3, right? No, second set?
No, you're right.
No, they win
second set in like it was like 24-25.
Right.
But they do win it like and then
26-24.
26-24, thank you. And then like the end of the third set. Yeah, they start going to deuce. So like they have to win by 2 at that point.
I think they make it to like 31, right? They make it to like 30 points.
I think the winning score was 38-35.
But here comes that smart aspect I was talking about.
36. It's something like that. Yeah, they have to win by 2.
Here comes that smart aspect I'm talking about, where it's like even though Oikawa and the entire like Alba Josai team are exhausted, one of the ex-middle school teammates that Kageyama had pointed out, being like, hey, he never used to do shit. He still doesn't do shit. But the point of that is that come like these deuces and these 31-point round volleys come set 3, he's not tired. Because he didn't give his 110% like Kageyama always wanted in middle school. He reserved himself to the point that he could play offense and defense. So he's catching volleys. He is being set up with spikes to the point that
they're getting like 5-7 chance balls.
I don't even remember his name. He's not even a relevant player.
I don't remember.
But like just the fact that he saved his stamina for the very end of the third set meant that Alba Josai won.
And as an audience, at this point,
you feel cheated.
No.
I felt cheated.
At this point, as a viewer, as an audience, as an anime watcher, you know there's gonna be a second season. Obviously, we know there's a second season because there's already 5 of this season. But like at this point, you're like, I can't wait for the next season. Like I can't wait because I mean, you're already episode 24, 25. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know this is coming to an end. Maybe me as a first time watcher, I could have not spoiled myself of watching the first half of the second season, but like I knew what was gonna be the outcome of this game.
Mm. Well, also like a very, very important part about the Alba Josai game is that it emasculates the most important part of the Karasuno offense, which is the Hinata and Kageyama like quick attack, because Kageyama does come back in as a setter, and like near the end of the game, he's so desperate for a point. He's
actually
like,
the last
who
point.
is the most guaranteed person
putting it up.
to get me the point right now? It's Hinata. It's Hinata. I'm going to set up to bring Hinata. Even if it's a point that everyone is clearly defending Hinata. Like, you see this in the NFL all the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. You know what I mean? Like
why are you still running it?
Even in the Super Bowl, you saw this. Being like, fuck, I'm hurt. I can't run. My knee's fucked up from quarter 3. Like, I can't run forward, but I have to make this offensive play. Who is my most reliable wide receiver right now? I'm going to chuck it to him. And, like, obviously, that's going to be your most defended player. You know what I mean? Who's Hinata in this instance?
Which I like that Oikawa was like the one that was just like, I know not only did I teach you how to play, but I know how you fucking think. So I know you're going to go to Hinata,
right.
bro.
So,
like, I know it.
And like, again, going to like these timeouts with Alba Josai, the coach doesn't say anything. It's just all Oikawa being like,
thing I like,
yo, everybody, did you see what he did after that hit? Did you see what that tell was?
That's one thing I like. I don't know who mentioned it, was either you or Aldo, but someone mentioned that I like that the players are the ones basically coaching themselves, which shows like
Aldo brought it up during the next
which showcases that like, bro, the coaches, not only do I have to coach, but I trust my players enough to know what they're doing wrong and what they need to do and adjust.
Which that's right,
bro. And Oikawa like plays, I think, the perfect like team captain that you want on your team. For that very reason.
Because he's smart, too.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And without context of what's coming next, as a first-time viewer, what the first season of Haikyuu wants to tell you is how to grow as a team, how you are becoming, how you are growing through volleyball, and at this point, you know it's coming. Mm-hmm. You know the loss is coming.
Yeah.
You know, you know that the Haikyuu is not over after the first season.
Absolutely.
You know? And we've had this underlining story of like the third years leaving next year and what their last year is gonna be and what the legacy is gonna be for the Crows. And at this point,
we do get a whole episode like after their loss, like episode 24, 25.
25 is the loss.
25 is the loss. Like episode 24 is like post
them playing
that,
their hearts out. Them playing their fucking nuts out.
Okay, so maybe I'm talking about episode 25, where the club endorser, the faculty member, is talking to the principal or higher faculty member, being like, "Yo, you need to talk to the third years and tell them that they're probably not going to get a scholarship through volleyball, and you need to tell them to drop volleyball club right now, and that they need to focus on their tests."
Hold on, can we back up? I just want to back up a little bit. When after they lose the tournament, one thing that like stuck with me so much was the scene where they're eating at the dinner, and they're all silent, everybody's quiet. After the loss, but they're all crying, dude. I'm not gonna lie, that happened to me. I think it was,
but I thought it was beautiful because
it was a perfect moment.
How Coach Yukai treats it, because the younger Coach Yukai is like, dog, I'm gonna treat you to this badass like Korean barbecue buffet. And, like, I'm cool with y'all, like, burning my money on these proteins because that's going to get you stronger. You earned it. You busted your ass. You lost. But, like, I do not believe that anybody did not bust their ass.
Exactly. It's like, one thing I really liked about that scene is, I'm not going to lie, bro, it happened to me before. We lost in a tournament. We got second place. And our coach took us to Hooters, and he's like, "Yo, don't worry about it. Just
get
eat.
What you want.
Just get what you want and eat." bro, we were all. Nobody said nothing. Nobody was excited. Nobody was happy. We all sat in silence.
It's the pizza party after a winning game. It doesn't taste as good when you lose, bro.
Right. So this is a badass meal, but even then they're like, this isn't good enough. This isn't like what would taste better is victory. Right.
What I think is a good emphasis, or like a good I guess metaphor in this scene is that these boys were hungry. You know what I mean? Like, not only did they lose, but these boys were hungry.
Let me talk about something we forgot about before the loss. Is that we discover, as an audience, that we do have a pinch server.
Oh, Yamaguchi.
Yamaguchi. So Yamaguchi has been having secret, serving lessons with one of the neighborhood volleyball associations, which is one of the friends of Coach Yukai, right? And this player that's part of the neighborhood volleyball association is doing a float serve. So it's think baseball, but think like a knuckleball.
Yeah.
Think so like a knuckleball as opposed to you throwing it with your fingers wrapped around. You're throwing it with your knuckles. So you can't give the ball the curve it needs to actually suspend itself forward.
I think you basically just use the air.
Right. So if the ball isn't spinning, it's just kind of floating forward and riding the air current to the point that's supposed to just fall.
A golf ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
You put a backspin on a ball, you put a front spin on the ball.
Okay, I wouldn't know that, to be honest.
Right, but there's never a point in golf that you don't want to spin on your ball.
Correct.
Right, and that's kind of the opposite of what the float serve is. So float serve just is supposed to suspend in air, but because it's not an actual serve and it's not spinning, you can't tell where it's going to fall.
Where it's going. It's supposed to be a last second.
So it's hard to defend because it's is it going to go left? Is it going to go right? Is it going to fall here? Is it going to fall? Is it going to fall there? To the point that Yamaguchi gets pinch served in just to suspend their offense, just to be we are gonna switch up their defensive play and
change the momentum.
Yeah, because it switches out Hinata too.
Yeah,
and Hinata's not a good server. He's barely able to float it in. So flipping it with Yamaguchi, which is he is Tsukishima's best friend, the 6'2" defender that they have. And the only reason he's playing is because he's best friends with Tsukishima. Which this isn't even brought up until season 2.
Later, yeah.
His whole reason for playing is just I just want to hang out with Tsukishima.
With my friend.
I just want to hang out with Yuki. You know what I mean? This isn't even that big of a deal to me. But the more he practices his serves and gets used to being a pinch server, the more he wants to do better.
Yep.
This is one of those points because he tries to float serve it in. And it doesn't get far enough. And it falls in. And they immediately sub him out. And he's upset. But the coach tells him, which I think is a really good point. He's just dog, you fucked up, but I believe you can do better.
Yep, you need to keep doing
better. Right. I subbed you in because of my judgment, and I saw how far you've been coming. So if you fucked up, that's on me.
Which I think is crazy, which I think is a good, acknowledgement from the coach, because the coach is yo, I've been seeing you practicing this shit. You're literally the only person I've seen practice their fucking serves. Yeah. She was so I trust you. The fact that you fucked up this round sucks, but I know, the way you said, I know you can get better from this point on forward, which is really good. Dude, man, that coach is such a good fucking coach.
I love Coach Yukai.
I love Coach Yukai, bro.
Yukai might be one of my favorite characters.
I did. Oh, yeah, honestly.
We're talking about favorite characters. I love almost every character on this show.
Might be. Hold on. One thing I wanted to say that I guess we kind of brushed over, which I guess isn't really that big a deal, but is that when they first get their uniforms for this spring tournament, one of the funniest moments that I saw was that Hinata gets number 10, right? Yeah. And he's just oh my god, Coach Yukai. Yeah, he's Coach Yukai, did you do this because of destiny? And Yukai's nah, that's kind of just coincidence, bro. That just kind of just happened. Yeah, he's nah, that just kind of happened. That's one of my favorite moments.
And one of the, me and Drew have talked about many anime. The plot is in this high school theme, in this high school time frame of it all. But here, having the combination very early on, especially in season 1, of third years and first years, that dynamic by itself, it is what drives this anime so well. Because not only are we saying goodbye to veterans, but we're saying hello to the legacy of this.
You know what's crazy? I don't know if it's just maybe a culture thing or whatever, but for example, in this show, they always address their elders like senpai. They give them so much respect. But for example, when I was a freshman and like made varsity, and someone that was older than me that I clearly knew that I was better than, I wouldn't listen to them. I mean, I guess that's just like the arrogance and things. But I was just like yeah. I was like, bro, I know I'm better than you, and I'm starting. Like, I don't have to listen to you. But even though Kageyama knew he was starting over Sugawara, he still listened to him. No matter what he said. Yeah. He felt really guilty.
He told Sugawara and Coach Yukai, like, dog,
like, I don't want to start over.
I'm not opposed to not starting. Like, dog, I'm not upset if you don't start me.
Which is, I'm not gonna lie, bro, that's such a good character.
For somebody that, like, for 20 episodes, they've been like, dog, he's the
best.
I'm
the shit. I'm the shit.
Starter.
For him to say that, it was like, yo, that's actually, bro, I applaud you for that, because that's hard to... For you to just be like, no, even though I know I'm clearly fucking better, I don't want to step over him because I know he's a senior, which is, bro, that's...
I think Aldo had a point.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, well, I was just coming into, like, what I love about what Haikyuu is, the episode 25, the losing episode, the facing the losing tournament. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's not too little.
It's also an OVA episode. It's an original video adaptation, so it's not canon technically.
Correct. Technically, yeah.
But like it feels like it would be canon because
it just takes place it takes place outside, like very outside of the plot of the volleyball game.
Yes.
That they're just dealing with their emotions. It's just sad kids.
I think it's cool because like
I think it's cool too.
If the end of the canon series to season 1 is episode 24 where they lose Alba Josei and they're like, fuck, we lost, that shit's ass, whatever. 25 is them watching the Alba Josei versus
Shida Torizawa. That's right.
Shida Torizawa game, and like Alba Josei gets fucking like 2-0'd. The second set was something like 25-4 or something ridiculous. And like for us being the
audience watching.
No. What's the high school we're rooting for?
Karasuno?
Karasuno. Like for us being watching through the Karasuno's perspective, like for a team you almost beat and like had to bust your ass to barely get that close.
To get blasted
for them
like
to
that.
Get washed
is
crazy. So you're just like, like we're not ready. We are not ready.
It's like, yo, these guys are the real deal. Even if they had
beat Alba Josei, we were not ready for that shit.
Imagine, okay. I mean, knowing what we know now, but imagine if they had beaten Oikawa there and then played Shiratori. You think they would have beaten them? No, I don't think so. No, they would have gotten fucking
even if
eliminated.
They had beaten Alba Josei right then, they would have never.
For sure. Yeah. They had to have lost that time.
To me, it's probably the easiest 25 episodes I've ever watched.
Oh, just like breeze through that shit?
Ever watched.
Ever. Wow. That's
ever watched.
Wait a minute. Was it this? No, it was next season.
What are your easiest 25 episodes to watch?
Season 1, Hunter.
Okay.
Season 100.
25?
That's 24.
Okay.
That's season 100 is 24.
Okay.
Season 100. Season 2 Haikyuu. Okay.
Season 2? Bro, Haikyuu is
season 2
Haikyuu,
amazing. Even easier than season 1 to watch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Season 3 Attack on Titan, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And yeah, that's my top 3.
That's a good
one. So for real, like you're right. Like
no, for me, I think
right.
For me up there in there, season 1 of Yu Yu Hakusho. That one I breezed.
Season 2.
Okay, no, yeah, of the Dark Tournament. Yeah, I breezed through that.
And
bitch,
that's
bro.
just like 50 episodes.
Yeah, dude, I breezed
that's just like 45
that
episodes.
Shit.
That shit's easy.
Like nonstop, bro. I fucking just like I have to watch the next episode.
But
I have to watch this.
Haikyuu, it is a great fucking story. It is something.
I'm excited to come back to season 2, like almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna come back to that like later on March Madness months? Because this is April Madness, guys.
Maybe
maybe even sooner. Who knows,
dude?
Who knows how these guys feel?
We have content for you guys. We think about a lot of like different things we want to tell you guys.
But if you guys want us to like accelerate the production of future like anime discussions, hit us up. Like we're down for that. You know what I mean? Like if right now we're scheduled to watch season. If we're scheduled to watch Free or the ice skating anime come like week 4 of April, Like, if enough people hit us up, like, I'd be down to totally switch that up
like,
and be like, no, we're just gonna watch season 2 of Haikyuu.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. Like, all I need is that audience influence. I don't.
What we need is interaction. We need interaction from you guys. We need to know what you guys want. That's how we know. Well, that's how these fellas know what to do next.
Because I honestly, being 5-6 episodes into Hinabado, I can already guarantee you that half of my takes from next week are going to be about Haikyuu.
Yeah.
I'm already a good amount into this badminton anime, and I can guarantee you my discussion for next week is going to be half about this fucking volleyball shit.
And that's why we love to bring in context to a lot of the animes that we love. Like, April Madness would not be anything without, sports animes like Haikyuu, like the boxing one. What is it? Punch Right? Or
Hippo Nose? I can't remember what it was, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hippo no Jutsu or something.
Or some shit like that.
Yeah, right step, left step, some shit like that. It's called in English. I do want to watch Captain Tsubasa, the soccer one. We're talking.
I'm gonna find the baseball one for you guys to watch.
We're talking about animes and different genre of animes, and we you guys know that we like ramen's shit. We are hyped for that because it's a genre on its own. But things like this, man, it's so good to watch. It's so good to watch. And even though I had a week and a half to watch this shit, I only watched it in 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is
but see, that was almost my fuck up because I almost finished this shit 6 days before this discussion. I was in a hotel room by myself in Denver this week, and I'd be on FaceTime with Karen, watch the season finale of My Dress Up Darling, and be like, hey, do you mind if I hang up so that I can finish watching Haikyuu? And she'd be like, what the fuck, you're gonna hang up on me to watch Haikyuu? And I'm like, you don't understand,
I need to watch this.
Haikyuu's really, really fucking good right now. I need to finish Haikyuu real quick.
I need to watch this.
Oh my god.
This is probably one of, aside from One Piece, I mean, you guys know I'm a fucking One Piece enthusiast, but aside from One Piece, this is probably one of the very few animes that I can rewatch multiple times and just enjoy it the same amount every single time.
I didn't think I would, because Haikyuu had a special place in my heart, because I watched seasons 1 through 3 when I was finishing my graduate portfolio for my professional science master's in environmental sustainability and natural resource management, come the end of 2020 to get my master's, right? And this was always one of those things when I'm writing this 120-page fucking final report that was playing in the background. You know what I mean? I'm always that kind of person that needs that white noise in the background to not focus on, but to always kind of avert my gaze. To stimulate me a little bit and to get me motivated. Haikyuu was it for me. When I watched all of Haikyuu was during this portfolio presentation and me getting it together.
I've been into this all through
and
COVID.
I really thought for a second, I'd never brought it up to Aldo, but I was maybe Haikyuu was more mid than I thought it was, because I was watching it in this highly I wanted anything to watch. I needed any form of stimulation right then. Haikyuu could have been any plethora of things. But this past week it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
So good. The characters, the plot, the
it's
development
corny
of
on
everybody.
Purpose and the best way.
But it's
Kyoko,
these guys.
Even Kyoko.
Bro, these guys
she
are.
made a banner for the team.
Oh, I love when she did that.
She
I love when she did that because everybody kind of cried for a moment.
So,
did they not?
So the female club manager is named Kyoko. And she was going through the club's old merchandise and old shit in the club.
A la K-On! Finding the...
A la K-On!, thank you very much. And found the banner for their volleyball club, which was Fly High Karasuno. And I'm just fuck, it's so perfect. Because
exactly for Hinata, bro.
Yeah, imagine being Hinata being nah, I just need to jump higher. Because in season 2, the season finale game in season 2 is cut short because Hinata cannot jump high enough. He at a certain point just runs out of gas in his legs and just cannot jump high enough. And he's looking up in the banner. It's just it says fucking Fly High Karasuno, and I can't fucking jump right now, guys. What the fuck is going on? You never see Hinata mad until the end of season 2, where he's just dog, I can't jump. I cannot fucking jump. What the fuck is going on? God, I love this shit so much.
This shit is so
I love
good,
it
man.
so much.
This show's so good. I can't wait for you to finish like the rest of it. It's so good.
Do we have anything else to say about season 1?
Oh,
2014.
At the very end, they showcase Nekoma's new player, Lev.
Yes.
The Russian / whatever the fuck he is, Russian / Japanese player who's like that 6'4", 6'5", fucking freak of nature. So they show him at the very last moment. I know for sure they show him.
So as opposed to Ione, who's like this half European player that plays for Daytech, who's a defensive player, Nekoma gets an offensive player who's a spiker, who's like half Norwegian, named Lev.
Yeah,
named
who's a fucking freak of nature, apparently, because nobody in Japan is over 6 foot tall, apparently.
Yeah, which is true.
That's true. That's very true. If you're over 6 foot, that's very rare.
So that's like a big part of season 2.
That is.
So,
which I like. Later on, you guys will, because I know you guys are going to want to watch more of Haikyuu, because it's that fucking good. But you guys will learn more about it.
The structure that we're giving you guys with this April Man is almost saddening to us, because I am so hyped for watching season 2 of Haikyuu. But the material we're giving you, we're giving you theme months for you to listen, and as our audiography and videography expands, you guys can just jump into episodes. You guys don't have to watch them on a row. If you like Kaguya-sama one day and you want to jump into Haikyuu the other day, you can just look through our fucking catalog.
Or if you like Death Note one day, just go back a few episodes and be like, yo,
they're gonna hate us if they like Death Note.
Yeah.
If they like
Death Note, they're gonna hate us.
I remember.
But
man. Either way, whatever you like,
we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, it's there for y'all. So just go back to the catalog.
But besides Haikyuu, I think we have a couple other points that we wanted to hit today. Is that correct, Aldo?
Yeah, we're gonna get into the NerdDown.
NerdDown?
NerdDown.
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 Welcome to the NerdDown, where the nerds get down. Again, I'm Drew Philip Elias. This is Aldo Mendez. This is Christopher James. Here for the NerdDown. At the beginning of this NerdDown, I do want to reiterate that everyone listening should use hashtag Nerds for Autism in an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our April giveaway. And by using hashtag Nerds for Autism, we will be getting you, lucky person that uses said hashtag, some tailor-picked anime nerd shit. You like Dragon Ball, we'll get you some Dragon Ball stuff. You like Yu Yu Hakusho, we'll get you some Yu Yu Hakusho stuff.
Volleyball, we'll get you some
Haikyuu. You like Haikyuu, we'll get you some Haikyuu stuff. And like, for every like and retweet, we will be donating to the Autism Society of El Paso. And so it's a good cause.
A reoccurring cause in our podcast.
And as somebody that actually won a contest between these guys, I can assure you, I can testify that they will accommodate to what you like, because I like One Piece and they know that, and that's exactly what they did.
I wanted to keep your figure, bro.
Yeah, I can tell you. Me and Alden talked about this. We wanted to keep yours.
I can tell you did.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if you have any suggestions for future anime, if you have any hot takes about our takes on previous anime, please hit us up on every social media handle that's @BetweenNerds. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns that you don't want to be made public, please hit us up betweennerspodcast@gmail.com.
And please, YouTube viewers, we are trying to get new angles on your viewing experience. So please like us, subscribe, comment, and also use a hashtag.
Subscribe. Yeah, and don't forget to, I know most of you guys are nerds out there because you're watching the rest of us nerds. So if you guys know any tips or advice that you may have for them, like angling camera-wise or sound-wise or anything-wise, give them a heads up, man, because we know you guys know a lot of shit out there because you're all fucking nerds.
Are you paying this guy?
No, I'm
not.
I don't know why the fuck he likes us.
No,
I'm just saying, bro. I support these guys, bro. These are my homies. I gotta support them.
And if anything, we are looking for your takes. And it's weird to us that nerds are not hot about what we're saying.
We're fellow nerds. How the fuck are you guys not hot?
But this entire NerdDown, goddamn, it's almost like a week and a half baking. You know, we took a small break between recordings because we decided to record early for your departure.
Right. So this past weekend, I was super fucking busy, and I took off last Friday. I took off March 25th so that I could spend a day like doing laundry and packing. If I'm being completely honest, because that night of the 25th at around like 11 p.m. I got picked up to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional in Lubbock, Texas at Mad Hatter's Hobby Shop in Lubbock, Texas.
Where you met a bunch of nerds.
On 26, where about 260 people attended.
Where you were discriminated against.
Called an asshole. God damn.
So I was describing this situation to Aldo and CJ before we started recording. Like, out of 260 people or so, I only had maybe one bad round, like one bad opponent. It was just a poor individual to be around.
Fucking nerd. He's sugarcoating that shit. He was a fucking nerd, bro.
He was. Because, like...
You know who you are, too, out there.
He clearly didn't know enough about shuffling and randomization and, like, the process to track cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh! To the point that he got mad at me, got corrected by a judge, called me an asshole. I called a judge and was like, yo, this nerd just called me an asshole. Me and him got a tournament warning.
For being assholes?
One step below...
For him calling my boy Drew an asshole.
One step below getting like a disqualification because it was deemed that because I was called an asshole, I was probably antagonizing him.
That's racist.
and like when I sat down, I was just like, this is some balding white nerd. Mm-hmm. And like when you see nerds like this that are clearly like too uptight, like just part of playing in person trading card games or like tournament games, anything like this, anything of the sort, like competitive Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever. Nerves are a big part of it, right? Mm-hmm. And this nerd, I could tell, was not comfortable playing in a regional setting to the point that, like, he was clearly wrong, didn't know what he was talking about. And I knew if I called him out to a judge, he'd start getting anxious and nervous.
You think he tried to use his white privilege?
No, but, like, he got really shaky, which I knew what was going to happen at a certain point. Like he'd hand me his deck, and, like, his whole arm was just shaking and just fidgeting. And friend of the podcast, Valentino Hernandez Jr., was watching me play him. He was like, what did you do that was making this nerd freak out so much?
How many times I gotta tell you, bro? It's the fucking arms. People see your arms and biceps, and they're just like,
I think I was wearing a jacket too. So
either way, bro, they might have seen that and be like, yo, this guy can whoop my ass if I beat him.
But like my thing was like, I swear if I flex my knowledge of this game more than this nerd, he's gonna freak out. And which is exactly what started happening. But like I lost the game through sheer happenstance. Like just like it was luck of the die roll. Like he won the die roll, went first game one, won game one. I win first game two. I won game two. And like game three, we went into time, and he had an out that won him life points in time, which let him win the game.
It was one of those situations where everything was in his favor.
Yeah, it's just like you luck like card games at the end of the day are like at a certain point like a matter of luck. You know what I mean? Like the luck die roll, choosing first or second is a matter of luck. And like just the cards you draw at the end of the day are a matter of luck anyways. But like you try to deck build to the point that you minimize how much luck has to do with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get you. Like he was clearly shook and upset to the point that I'm glad I just ruined the rest of his day because I saw him getting tournament calls on him the rest of the day. And he was just like clearly in the wrong and upset.
Do you know how far he went, that guy?
I know he did not make top 32, which means he did not get his nationals invite like me, which like made me happy because I was like, that nerd does not.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I like, for example, in a tournament like that, if I lose to anybody, I would want that person to make it. I would want to lose to somebody that is like the best. You know what I mean?
You're probably gonna lose a lot, especially if you're like in that kind of setting. Especially like this is the first regional. Like in the first 3 years.
Hey, but like how you said, you went in there underestimating everybody. You thought you were the top shit. No offense, but I mean, I know you're really good. Don't get me wrong. I know you're good.
I think that's what upset me.
I think you underestimated.
I think that's what upset me the most because like my first loss was a setting that I should have won. Yeah. And it was just one of those where I tunneled in so much that I was not aware under the conditions I was playing around anymore that I completely like fucked myself over. Like I had 3-4 points of interaction, And because I tunneled in on a play that was not optimal, I ended my board with 2 pieces of it.
Hey, but now you know for next tournament when shit happens like that.
But see, that's my point, CJ. Like
he already knew.
That's my point, CJ, about like next time. Next time is hella diminished because there's no World Championship qualifying series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What it means to go to nationals this year is going to be hella diminished to the point that, like, in previous nationals periods before COVID, the day before nationals, you could do flights. Like, if you did 8 16-man flights, if you went undefeated and won said flight, you could gain your invitation to nationals, which would normally be the next day.
A flight being...
A flight of 8 to 16 players.
Okay.
So you would basically have to go undefeated to get your nationals in.
Oh, okay.
Which is normally what the regionals are for. But because the regional season is so hella shortened, when nationals is usually into June, July, and we're not even sure what kind of nationals format we're going to get. I'm not sure I could ever qualify for this season again because this might have been my last opportunity. But this was also one of those where, like, everyone was so desperate for tier 2 competition that all the good players came out. Because previously, like when I went to Dallas or Lubbock, whatever, like there'd be a lot of bad players, people that just wanted to play in tier 2 settings.
Now you know where you stand amongst like the really good players. So now that just like Karasuno, that should motivate you for next time. You know what I mean? Like, that should motivate you more.
I hope so.
Yeah, that should, bro. That should.
Because
hold on.
We're writing Drew's anime.
Yeah, exactly. We're writing the anime of Drew. You know what I mean? But like the way you describe that guy, that fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you're gonna let him just like
I just
bully you like that?
I just don't understand how, like, you can call me an asshole and then like not only that, like after the judge gave us both the warning, he tried to shake my hand, being like, "Hey, let's let bygones be bygones."
Yeah, you should have fucking slapped that shit.
I just ignored him.
You should have fucking slapped that fucking hand out the way, bro.
I was just like, dog, why the fuck are you talking?
Yeah, bro, you should have been like, bro, you were just a cuck a few minutes ago. How the fuck are you gonna try to talk to me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of these are like nerds that have never just been.
Hold on. Let me ask you this: next year's tournament, you come across the same guy, you winning?
Yeah, absolutely.
You better, motherfucker.
Like,
you better win
honestly, he basically won sheer by luck. There was no way.
I think he had more heart in the cards. I'm just kidding.
But although that was the most disappointing part of your trip, you also had a conference.
So that was
that's
right. First trip.
Yes.
To Aldo's point. That same day at around 7 p.m. Lubbock time, which is Central U.S. time, we drove back to El Paso. 6 a.m. the next day, that's Sunday, I had a flight out from El Paso to Denver to attend the American Waterworks Association Sustainable Water Management Conference.
So tell us, is El Paso going to have good water?
If anything, I am more comfortable after this conference about El Paso's water situation than Colorado as a whole.
Oh, wow.
So, I like before that Sunday, I had never heard the term aridification, which is like, I use the term desertification a lot, especially in like my sustainable like conference work, which is just, the expansion of desert forecasts.
Yeah.
But aridification is arid scenarios, but an expansion of it, right? And it turns out that like the Colorado watershed is almost entirely dried up to the point that like Colorado, the state as a whole, considers itself almost a part of the desert Southwest.
Oh shit!
Because they only get like 5-6 days of rain a year. So
damn, it's that bad over there?
It's bad.
Holy
and the
shit.
Colorado River and the Colorado River shed as a whole are sustained through snowpack in that region as a whole. They're not getting any precipitation. So they're not even restoring the bare minimum that the Colorado River shed should be restoring. And it's bad. It's bad. Like, I heard figures around like at a certain point in like the early 20th century, they were getting somewhere around 200 million acre feet of water around the northern half of the Colorado River shed a year.
And that's all
now they're expecting like 2 million out of 200 million.
God damn.
acre feet of water.
Oh, fuck.
And that includes like a watershed that feeds southern Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico, all that stuff. And it's bad.
And it's crazy
bad.
because Arizona gets hot year round, so they need all
It's
that shit.
bad. It's really bad, bro.
That's wild.
So
dude.
like a lot of the sustainable management conference was like people would drop out of the conference because they couldn't because of COVID concerns, whatever. So they'd invite regional people to the conference to speak. So we got a lot of Southern Nevada, a lot of Colorado people to speak, a lot of Denver Water Authority people to speak, and all of them ended up being like, "Yo, we have no water. These are the means we're taking to buy out like people's green grass fields. These are the water reuse adaptations that we're taking. They have no groundwater sourcing like El Paso does, so it's all entirely surface water from the Colorado River shed, and it's bad, bro.
Yeah,
like
that shit's already diminishing.
On Facebook today, in one of my Facebook memories, I got a status from 2015 saying like, "Oh, I wish I could move. I wish I could move to Colorado or Austin, blah 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 blah." And me and Karen were joking about it, being like, "Dog, we literally cannot move to Colorado because there's no fucking water and there's no sustainable fucking network out there. We can't move to Austin because it's literally too expensive to live out there now."
Yeah, especially with the price of cost of living going up, like wild, dude.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, all I came out of this conference was like I know like people in El Paso are used to bitching about El Paso, but El Paso might be in a better
position than other places.
A lot of places in the U.S.
That's one thing I don't understand is that people that bitch about El Paso, they don't really know like the minute details, like how you would know. You know?
I haven't been to many places in the U.S., but from all the places I've been in the U.S., the only place that tells me you're safe to drink the tap water is El Paso.
That's true. That's true.
You know, like Nevada, no. You get
do not drink the tap water.
You have to get your purified or alkaline.
I feel like that's like
water.
in most places, like.
But the only place where people where you are allowed to drink, not allowed, but like you're safe to drink your tap water is here in El Paso. Yeah. Nevada, New York, California is like you're kind of.
Where's the place in
swinging
where the water's been like fucking mud the whole time? Yeah, Flint, Michigan. Michigan, yeah, like in Michigan up north, bro. Like, how long has it been? Like 2-3 years that their water's been fucking it's been like, dude, their water's been shit, and they still haven't done nothing.
But that's why no one lives in that community anymore. So like you talk about sustainable communities. Like Denver might not be one of those because there's no room for growth because there's no water.
Yeah.
But like El Paso actually might be one of those because we source most of our water from groundwater.
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, I know they don't have water, but like, couldn't they make money because Denver, the fact is like have that like the recreational weed and all this? Can they make money from that?
That's fine, but that's not enough to sustain water.
Yeah. Well, no, I meant like they can make money from that to possibly do
but
like
then,
the water.
But then you talk about elected officials putting that money into that
something else and shit. Yeah,
you know, which is
that's true. Actually,
it's
that's
bad.
True.
It's really bad.
It sounds bad, man.
On the upside of this past week and a half that we had off, my son turned 1.
Congratulations, brother. Shout out to
Zaid. He turned 1 on the 31st, which, you know, it's been a wild ride. You guys have been listening. When you get older,
you'll see these videos.
You guys have been listening. My son is as old as this podcast. You know, pregnancy term and all. But, yeah, we had a good time with him. We also watched Jujutsu Kaisen.
You make it seem like he's leaving or something. We had a good time with him, but he's off to better things, you know?
He's on to better things.
He's honestly as big as a 3-year-old, number 1.
Bro, he's...
Number 2, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is excellent.
Awesome movie. Hold on. Time out. Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Yeah, I saw it. Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Demon Slayer, Mugen Train.
Demon Slayer.
Who do you think? Demon Slayer? Okay, I'm just curious. I was just
Demon
curious.
Slayer by like a long shot.
I was just curious.
Yeah. It's not even close. Not even close.
I'm in the same boat as y'all. I was just curious.
Look, we had to talk about season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. My gripe
Aldo
about
hated it.
My gripe
Did
about
he really?
Aldo hated season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's
what?
Aldo hated it. Just so we're clear, Aldo hated it.
So it has like 3 good things going for it.
Okay.
It has character development going for it.
Okay.
It has character design and animation going for it.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And it has this whole thing, the same point that we're talking with like
a good plot.
Haikyuu. I'm sorry. What is it?
Haikyuu?
Yeah. Which comes to like this whole veteran and newcomers thing going for it, okay. which I like. The movie, I felt like it was holding my hand throughout the entire movie. There was no surprise. There was no holy shit, this is what's going on. And it's a prequel. We're talking about the class, the Goyo thought before getting our main protagonist on season 1. And it just holds your hand throughout the whole thing. And don't get me wrong, animation, character design, and character almost development, but it's not development because we already seen these characters.
Who's the main character's name again? I can't remember what his name.
The wolf guy. Right?
No, not Megumi. It's a different guy. Yeah. It's technically a different person. I thought it was about Megumi, about the guy that can sub the wolf from the wolf demon, but it's about a different person. But the person that they brought up. Okay, my only gripe with the movie is that I wish they flushed his character out a little bit more. Honestly, bro, I was like stupid stoned when I went to go see the movie, so I really don't know much.
Yuta Okotsu.
Okay, there we go. Yuta, there we go. Yuta. I know him. I just wish they flushed his character out just a little bit more.
I feel like
to make me more attached.
I feel like that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
like him not being fleshed out.
No.
I was like,
like his story, like his.
What's about him?
It's mostly
the
about
girl's undying devotion to him. You know, the curse that he
Rika?
had.
Oh, there we go.
You know, like that was the best part of the story.
I liked it because it feels like something that would be like season 3 Jujutsu Kaisen. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Because season 1 Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime, is a character that similar means. Like, is possessed by a curse that he can't entirely control, which is super, super broken, that makes, like, the elders of the Jujutsu Kaisen, like, council, like, afraid of him, and all he wants is to be the best person possible and to defeat curses. Mm-hmm. Exact same plot. Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. Okay, I get that. But the thing about Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is that it goes from, like, 0 to 100 like a million times faster.
Thank you. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like I feel like the story fucking jumps like at sporadic
because
moments.
They tell you immediately that the curse Rika is the most powerful thing we've ever seen in Jujutsu Kaisen. Besides Goku.
Gotaro. Fucking Gotaro Sensei, whatever his name, or Gojo Sensei, whatever his name
is. And that's not their only downfall. The other downfall is that they introduce your main antagonist. They introduce your issue, your what is it? The main plot point of the story, and they introduce you the resolution to it before anything happens. Like they come across Yuta, just like our protagonist in the first season, he is judged by this council that Goyo is like, no, he's not that bad. He's a cool dude.
I will personally defend him by my own accord. Yeah. If you want to kill Yuta, then you have to kill me. Who's also the most powerful Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerer.
And then once that's established, that becomes the plot. And then once that becomes the plot, and Jujutsu Kaisen 0, it's a good movie for new audience. I have hopes for Jujutsu Kaisen as far as like a series goes, but again, I'm not moving my point of view that it's something we've seen before.
If anybody needs to understand where Aldo's coming from, listen to our Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 breakdown as part of this podcast. Aldo did not like it. But, like, he did defend himself for, like, 2 hours. So, like, if you want, like, a solid talking points on why Jujutsu Kaisen might not be the end-all, be-all of shonen anime in 2022, you should listen to our Season 1 discussion of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Correct. And is this episode 89?
89, yeah.
Okay. We are coming to the end of Season 3 as far as the Between Nerds podcast.
Yeah.
We'll bring you that.
Thank you for being along on this fucking journey, man. That's just wild.
So, like, for anybody that's a new listener, at the end of each season, which is about 30 episodes or so, me and Aldo will sit down for a bonus episode and talk through the previous 30 episodes of the podcast. And we will break down, like, what our takeaways are, our best girl of the season, best anime of the season. It's super freestyle. It's more freestyle than I'm making it sound. But, like, in the next 2 weeks, expect a bonus episode that will be our Season 3 breakdown for Between Nerds.
Correct. And I love that conversation because we talk about 30 different pieces or more of different anime, and we can still put it together.
It's great because, like, even though we're on
what anime watching is.
Even though we're on episode 89,
True.
We're on maybe like 92, 93 different anime because, like, we do have certain episodes which are basically like season 2, season 3 of given anime. I'm thinking Attack on Titan. I'm thinking Hunter x Hunter. But like.
Food Wars too.
We watch so much anime.
That's right. You haven't.
No, we touched season 1, but we never.
But after that,
but
no,
that was season 1.
Believe it or not, you guys are the reason why I started watching Food Wars because of your guys' episode. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance. Yeah, I was like, I'll give it a watch, and I started watching season 1. I was like, yo, this is actually. Well, me being a chef, I was like, yo, this is actually pretty fucking funny. Like, it's fucking
crazy.
It's wild, dude. How much, like, don't get me wrong, I'm full on board of, like, people. Okay, I wouldn't say like moaning or orgasming from like my fucking food, but like people like, oh man, this is so good. Okay, relax. No, I definitely don't get that. But no, like being a cook, I can understand like yo, people are like, yo, this food is fucking bomb. So that's one thing I like about Food Wars. And thank you guys for putting me on that.
I might sound corny, but when I was bartending, that was one of the cool things to me. Is like to make a drink and then being like, oh shit, this is really good.
No, yeah, I'm not the same way. Like, if like I make a plate or something, and I make a plate of food or something, and I eat it, I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty good. I'm impressed with myself. Nah, bro, I fuck with you on that.
Honestly, the thing that's made me miss bartending recently was my most recent iteration with bartending was that
the drugs.
I would host at a craft beer bar like weekly anime nights on Thursday night. You know what I mean? And that's where I made most of my money. And what was exciting about it was because it was all my friends and I could crowdsource what anime are we watching, this and that. And I could host like drink specials based on like anime or like sake bomb specials, Asahi, Kirin specials and stuff like that. But
and that's one of the reasons we have this podcast right now too.
That was a really big motivation for it because don't get me wrong, like when it came to the original idea for Between Nerds podcast, I was not part of it. It was Aldo and Lloyd that were like, no, we're gonna get together, we're gonna talk about nerd stuff. But my understanding, I might be taking the words from Aldo's mouth, but like my understanding is a big part of it was like when people were hanging out at Common Ground and we could sit down, watch said anime, and like discuss it over a beer. So when I hear Aldo talking about like when he envisions a scenario for the podcast is him at a bar watching said anime or thinking about said anime and having a impromptu conversation about said anime or said like Japanese work with a fellow nerd patron. So like that job is maybe like a big jumping stone for what caused Between Nerds podcast to happen.
Shit, I mean, I was there for the stepping stones. I was.
You've
with
been
Lloyd,
there.
With
you
Lloyd,
were Lloyd's roommate at the time.
Well, with Lloyd, I was part of the original pilot episodes when we were talking about fucking One Piece. Well, towards the end we were talking about One Piece, but man, that was so. To think at the time we were talking about it,
ago. We have a bonus episode.
I believe so. That was when we first maybe it was like 2-3 months after we first discovered what Kaido actually was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's when that's how long ago that shit fucking was.
That's when we discovered it's a fish fruit.
Dude, it's like, man, that's just so wild.
And like, a really big part of that is that Aldo has, like, this hunkering, this he has this bleeding heart for DC and Marvel works. You know what I mean? Like, Aldo feels very strongly about any movie or TV show produced entirely from a DC or Marvel original work.
Franchise, yeah.
So, and to that point, like, Moon Knight came out this week. And Moon Knight, my understanding, I don't read in comics, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Moon Knight is almost like an obscure comic book character in and of himself.
Who is Moon Knight?
I don't think Moon Knight's been part of the mainstream MCU for maybe 10, 15 years.
Can you do me a favor, and for those of us that probably don't know, like myself, who is Moon Knight?
Ask Aldo.
Who is Moon Knight, Aldo?
Okay, so one of the craziest things that happen to comic book or to what do you call Greek mythology, like comic books are, and they've been in the American culture so long that this is like American mythology. These are the gods from America, whether they're not as serious as maybe Zeus, or they're not as serious as Thor from Nordic mythology and shit like that. But I mean Norse mythology. But what it is to be the Superman, the Batman, the Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, it is almost a mythology that started way too early for its genius. That a code of conduct was placed in comic books. Maybe 10 years in.
Grill those fucking nerds, bro, I swear. I mean, Judy, you better grill those fucking nerds, I swear to God.
What nerd?
All nerds. You know what I'm talking about, bro. All the fucking nerds that are mad. They're grilled.
So, something me and CJ wanted to talk about was this big debate that's come out the past 2-3 weeks about, like, Naruto versus One Piece. Because One Piece, the manga, has gotten to a point in time where it's groundbreaking. Like, it's absolutely the most groundbreaking shonen of its time, almost 30 years later after its premiere. But nerds are mad because it's not as serious